GearNetwork.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
We're recording. All right.
Just so everybody knows, Robbie Vegas is making a spritzer.
And we're back!
Hey, welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back to the All Bets
Do I need like
podcast.
a a cool radio voice for this?
I mean,
I feel like I should just be like, "Hey, welcome back to the All Bets Are Off podcast. We're here with Robbie Vegas and Chad Stanley." I know I'm fucking natural at this shit, dude.
I gotta say, all right, well, I'm super excited because we're finally at the top 10 of the Rolling Stones, top 50 hair metal albums of all time. I'm just gonna go around the horn real quick, go around the table. Obviously, I'm your host, Rockstar Robbie Vegas. I'm gonna tell you right now, my cousin Adam's here. He's the idiot we were talking about at the end of the last episode that we did.
What's up, Rock Soldiers? How's it going?
And of course, Chaz is back, who's been with us all along for the Rolling Stones top 50.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
Twisted Sister is better than Tesla. Thank you.
Okay. Today
Those are some big words. Those are some big words coming from this guy over here.
Today might
I'm
get
still
it.
holding a grudge.
And of course, around the other side of the table, we got Maddie Vegas over here. Say hello, please.
Hello, please.
And she may or may not say anything, but she is here doodling on her
Just
fresh
here hanging
paper.
out, doodling on some,
Yes.
on
This
some
is the
fresh cut
first
paper.
podcast we're doing that involves alcohol.
It is. For all of us, anyways. Not
I did
for
have a
you.
beer once. I did have a beer once.
I will be the bad influence on that one. Sorry.
So, I gotta say, too, this is pretty cool. The top 10 I thought was a tough one to put together. The whole thing's been a lot of fun, but it's going to be more interesting today because we have more voices and it's going to be more different opinions. So, I'm excited about it, but I'm also kind of bummed because this was fun.
This is.
Well, we could find some other trouble to get
Oh, I'm
into.
sure we could. There's plenty of lists out there that Rolling Stones.
Butchered.
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it in case Rolling Stone's listening. You know, pick up a boy. Let's go.
Big shout out once more to our number one fan, Chris Jericho. Thank you, Chris, for always listening.
Oh,
and,
is that where that
input.
fruit basket came from?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
What a guy.
That's why we got the
Shout out
network
Chris
on.
Jericho. Yeah. I'll tell you what, guys. Like, this is a tough list.
I thought so.
It's my bottom five. You guys are gonna be shocked. It was very easy to put together. My
makes
top,
one of us.
my top five, complete, and I can change them around any which way. It was crazy.
In all honesty, for me, this list I thought was not as good as the last list. I think you could actually replace 1 through 10 with 11 through 20 almost.
I definitely,
Really?
Yeah, I thought that
as
was
well.
a stronger list overall in general.
Interesting. I thought this list was difficult. I loved every...
It was super difficult.
Okay, I'm not going to say every, but there's some great albums on this 10.
There's a lot of good songs.
There is, too.
I'm interested
There's
to
a lot
see
of
what
good
you guys
songs.
don't
There's a lot
like.
of good, a couple good albums.
You guys already probably know what I don't like.
Everybody knew about the Sunset Strip. You're going to grow up reading, back then Circus Magazine, Cream Magazine, and all they would do is bombard you with, and Spotted Today on the Sunset Strip and playing here on the Strip.
It was at a time where a lot of people were coming to Los Angeles to make it. They were coming out here to be musicians.
I was in about 5 bands at the same time.
Why don't we go around the horn then and do each other what we think the others picked? So
Sure.
why don't we start? Well, you're
I
in
just
the
have to
middle.
say something really quick.
Yeah,
I actually forgot what I was going to say, but we'll just continue on.
that's okay. Well, there's an edit button. That
There is an edit button.
That
No,
sounds stupid.
Leave it in. We want him.
We're probably going to use that.
This is
but-
Adam. We need
Actually-
people to know the real Adam.
No, just kidding.
You got it.
I do not want to take away from the talent from any of these guys, but I'm going to shit all over some of these albums. I just want you guys to know. Okay,
This is
So,
coming from the non-musician.
the non-musician who dabbles a little bit. I know maybe 3 chords on the guitar, so we're
That's
good
all you
there.
need to be in an 80s band sometimes.
But that's sometimes how I felt listening to this list. So
Adam, why don't you start?
Yeah,
by
I'll give it- I'll give it
what do you
started.
think we picked as our number ones?
okay, knowing the big nerds that you guys are and the big fans, Vegas, I picked 2 for you: Poison and Skid Row.
Okay,
Could be either one.
No, you gotta
Could
pick
be
your
either
first
one.
place.
Definitely went with Poison right off the bat, and Chaz, I did the same thing for you. I did the Poison.
So you're picking
So I'm
Poison
picking
for both
Poison
of them.
for both of you guys.
says the guy wearing the look with the cat dragged in
That's true.
shirt.
Says the guy wearing the Poison shirt. Who I will be. Spoiler alert! I did not pick Poison as my number one.
I didn't pick it for you.
Spoiler, because I picked it for both of you. So.
Did you really?
See,
So he picked
see, I
Poison for us.
wasn't
Okay.
alone in this.
Yeah, I picked Poison for both of you.
I actually, surprisingly, did not pick Poison for either of you,
Okay.
which is strange because we have seen Poison together many times.
Yes, we have. Hence
So,
where the shirt came from.
Adam, for you, I picked Skid Row.
Okay.
And Gio, for you, I
Interesting.
went with Crew.
Which one?
Shout.
You were going.
I was
with
thinking
me with
that
Warren
as well.
last time.
We're definitely going to disagree.
Only
on this
because
list.
I felt that all three of us would normally pick Poison for just about anything. But I thought that would be
That's
a little
true.
bland, and I thought that maybe you guys mixed it up.
But it is a good album.
It is.
And here's my thing with
Fantastic.
Crew before we get into it. These two Crew albums are like the least hair glam metal albums they made.
On this list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the only two that are on there, and you can easily argue that, I mean, Dr. Feelgood's not listed on this, and that is like the mecca of hair metal, and neither is like Theater of Pain, and that's way more hair metal. Yeah, there's a tattoo. I feel like that, and I like these albums, I don't mean to take it away from them, obviously. I never considered Shout at the Devil a hair metal album.
Shout at the Devil is one of the heaviest albums.
Exactly. That's
the
like a metal.
80s.
And then Too Fast for Love is like a punk album almost.
It is.
You know, so like
we'll
out
get
of
to those.
out of all the songs they could have picked for Crew, that's just something I wanted to bring up in general. I just think they picked like why is it not Dr. Feelgood?
Agreed.
And then again, why wasn't it Flesh and Blood? Like those
Yeah.
are their biggest albums.
Agreed.
So it's
I totally
weird.
agree.
It's just a weird.
Before we start digging into it, too, I do want to touch on this at the end of the podcast, but Motley Crue is back, touring with Def Leppard and Poison, doing a stadium tour with an unnamed fourth band. So keep in mind that when we're done with this podcast, I want us to kick around some ideas on who we'd all like to see the fourth band to be. Adam, you've listened to every episode so far, breaking
have.
this down, so you know how it works.
I do know how it
so
works.
I'm going to kick us off.
Excited to
and-
be here. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, of course, man. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
You got your gentleman's jack on the
I
rocks.
do have
And
Jeff on the rock.
we're going to start number
well
10. A band that I love that we talked about who was on the last 10. This is with Cinderella with Long Cold Winter from 1988. I'm going to kick this one off for us because I'm a huge Cinderella fan. I love this album. There's a few tracks I could do without, though. But in general, this album is so much fun. It just embodies what Cinderella was. And like you said last time, if you took Night Songs and Long Cold Winter and put them together, you have the perfect album.
Yeah, it's half. It's the same thing. It's like half, maybe a little more than half good. I felt like I don't know why. I felt like I liked this album more before I re-listened to it. I felt the re-listen to it kind of like just brought it back to the level of Night Songs of like it's half good and it's half boring. I don't know where that came from because it just has a lot of that. I call it formulaic ABC blues rock on it.
Gotcha.
And I don't like that. But I like the singles on it, I love.
And Tom Kiefer,
Sounds good.
yeah, he's awesome. I think The Last Mile is one of the best songs that they've had. Have you, Adam, did you see Cinderella with us before? I can't remember.
Maybe.
I don't think he did.
I don't think I was at a Cinderella.
Because the
show.
last time we seen him together, he was like 9.
I was probably too young for concerts at the time. I am the youngest here, everybody. Just so everybody knows that. I am the young one. Besides Miss Vegas over here on the other side, but she's not involved.
Adam's 40, she's 39.
Bullshit.
What
Listen.
does that make me and you?
That's right. I know, right? You guys just made yourself older. So
So what do you think about this album?
I love the album. I love Cinderella. I'm with you. I'm on the same boat. And I actually, so I read the little blurb that Rolling Stone put out about this, saying that it was a little bluesier. Yeah. You can tell right off the bat, right? First song, right? Blues riff on the guitar.
Mm-hmm. It's actually
Love
called
it.
Bad Seamstress Blues.
Exactly. Exactly my point. But I did go back.
Chaz didn't like it.
I did go back and listen to Night Songs as well. Totally different album, and you can tell straight
Night
off the
Songs is
bat.
heavier.
Night Songs is definitely heavier. It's definitely a great album, and I definitely have to agree with Chaz too. Is that there are a lot of songs on both albums you just put them together, and it's a fantastic album.
I used to think I liked this album more than Night Songs until I re-listened to it. Now, honestly, I think I prefer Night Songs.
Okay. I do have to say, though, I do love the titles of both. I think Night Songs and Long Cold Winter are really cool titles.
I agree with that as well.
Yeah, he did come up with good titles. And this was like their era. It was really only 2-album era for them.
Yeah, for sure.
They never really went... What year was this?
88.
88. So
This is not even the oldest one that we got.
Yeah, it's an okay album. Like I don't shit on people for liking it by any means. It's just not my forte.
Anymore.
Yeah, true. I was kind of outspoken because I hated his voice.
Yeah.
But if we're sticking
When
to
I was
just,
younger.
if we're sticking to just this album and not talking about Night Songs, what did you pick as the best track?
My recommended one that I really enjoyed on this was If You Don't Like It.
Wow, that's funny. Me too.
I love the guitar riff in that, and I think it's fantastic.
I think
I
that's-
do love Tom Kiefer's voice, man.
Would you
He's got
say?
a great voice.
Would you guys say that's one of the heavier ones on the album?
Yes, that's why I picked
Yeah,
it.
definitely. I think that's what gravitated me towards it. Is that I do like the bluesier sound. I don't have a problem with that. Like some people do over here. But yeah, If You Don't Like It, it's just like it's a badass like rebel song, and I think remembering back to our younger years and all of us being rebels kind of drew me to that song. But I love that song. I think it's great.
I
think the album's great.
What was yours, Jazz?
Well, first of
You
all,
got this look on your face.
I'm laughing because what makes me laugh about that when it just hurts me to think like it's a rebel song from Cinderella. Like it's like one of the least manliest bands out there. Like, could you see Poison writing a song like that? Like, no, it's not like their forte. That's more like a Motley Crue thing.
Sure.
So I do like that song. It kind of stuck out like in that album for me, but that's not the one I picked.
You
actually.
picked Gypsy Road, didn't you?
I did not pick Gypsy Road. It's a good song.
It is a great song.
Second Wind would be my guess for you.
No, I actually picked Coming Home.
Coming Home.
That's
okay,
a great
I was going to say that one
song.
too. That is a good
that
song.
is Tom
Actually,
Kiefer
if you
at
guys
his
can
best.
see on my list here, I actually have a little dash there because I was going to pick that one as well.
I think
I
that's.
agree with that.
I think that's his best vocal song. You know why it's his best vocal? Because he's not going like that the whole time. He's singing.
Remind me when I'm editing to lower that.
I can't wait
He's
for that.
singing. He's singing
I can't wait
in
for
his
that.
voice.
I can't wait to listen to that. On the radio.
He's singing in his natural voice, and I think he sounds great. And even when he does get a little higher, it sounds great. And even when I seen him in concert, it sounded great when they did it.
Well, I'll tell you, that I agree with that, but I also think that The Last Mile on this album is a great vocal performance by him as well. He does a little bit of both in that song. Gypsy Road is a great song. And this album actually has their biggest hit with Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone.
Right.
That was their biggest hit ever.
So those two are obviously in contention for ballad of the list.
Oh, for sure.
Would you say Coming Home's a ballad? I think so.
Coming Home is
Coming
definitely
Home,
a
yeah,
ballad.
definitely a ballad.
It
but
may
I
not
think
be as slow, but it's definitely a
I
ballad.
think
We've put heavier
Don't Know What
ballads
You
out
Got
there.
though is
Oh my God.
hands
You
down
remember
power ballad.
I don't know if you guys
that
remember
is
the
power
first,
ballad.
the first time you heard that song as a kid, but oh my God, I
Yep.
remember the first time I heard that song. I didn't even know, like, I'd never experienced anything like that in my life. But after I listened to Cinderella sing about it, I was heartbroken over no one, over nothing. I was just like, whatever this guy's feeling is bad.
exactly.
And it makes me cry.
Like I said, it is good. Like I think Cinderella, and this you'll hear this maybe a couple times on this. For me, at least, is almost like a greatest hits band for me.
Okay.
Like I want to hear the hits. I really like the hits, and kind of the deep tracks I don't get into as much.
Okay, fair
And
enough.
that's how I feel for them.
Well, let's move on to the next one. We got number 9, with the oldest album on this whole list of 50, is Motley Crue's Too Fast for Love from 1981. Oldest album on the list. This is the one I kept making, alluding to that there was an older album,
Yes,
an older
yeah,
album.
yeah.
That was this one. And, God, I fucking love this
Oh,
record.
it's so good. It is so. It's got such a punk mentality to it, and it's just because it's really them being themselves. When Motley Crue moved on in their career, they always became about changing. So that was them being them. Then they wanted to be heavy devil guys. Then they wanted to be glammy glam boys, and they wanted to be biker dudes. So they kept moving and changing their music. Like this was just a bunch of young guys. Just young guys and Mick Mars, just playing some music.
Side note: Can we also just say "glammy glam boys" for everything?
Sure,
I know, I really like that.
I like that term.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
no problem.
that is a term that definitely is about this era.
I'll tell you what too. Like I like this album. This I put this album in a lexicon of with Metallica's Kill 'Em All. They don't sound like everything else from that band. When I was younger, I didn't like these albums, but now that I'm older, they're two of my favorite albums ever from each band.
It's funny that you say that because Too Fast for Love, amazing album. Hands down, love it. It's very raw, it's very gritty, it's not overly produced, and that's what makes me think of Kill 'Em All, because Kill 'Em All isn't. But I always wondered, had this been a little more heavily produced and cleaned up, I think it would have been a heavier album than it sounds.
I think I wished it would sound like crap now, but I wish they would re-record it.
Yeah,
It would probably not sound great.
but
I don't think it would sound that bad.
I think it would be heavier. But
would definitely be
I'm not
heavier.
saying that this album needs to change. I love this album.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it makes me wonder because it's very raw. It's very real. It's not
Right.
overly mixed.
And our good friend Chris Jericho actually covered one of these songs on this album as well.
He did Livewire, which is a great song.
Shout out Fozzy.
Yeah.
This is a great album. I mean, Motley Crue. It's Motley Crue, right? You simply based on the name, you're like, oh my god. I'm
Well,
gonna check
Motley
this
Crue's
out.
not a band for me that every album's a home run by any means.
I agree with that.
I'm going to be honest. But-
Listen, I do agree, and I actually said that this album should be not in the top 10, and you guys are going to hate me for that. Well,
Really?
Chaz might hate me for that. Yeah, I thought it should have been a little bit, maybe in 10 to 20.
I mean,
range.
it could be.
It's a great album. Don't get me wrong, but I just found
But
it
remember, we're looking at it in where it is on this.
right where it is
so
in this list. I know.
we made that
I
rule
can't
that you
change
can't
it. I'm not changing it. I'm keeping it here.
What did you pick
But
for your standout track?
My favorite track on this list is "Take Me to the Top." Great song.
Good pick.
Love
There's
that
so
song.
many good songs.
Stick to Your Guns stuck out to me, and I think that's a great song.
My couple of picks are Starry Eyes.
See, that one didn't do it for me. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's a heavy, deep tune.
It is. Wow. I skipped over it,
and then Toast of the Town.
And I tried to listen to it again, and I still skipped over it.
I like Toast of the Town. It's just like fun, and it embodies like that glam era. I think Toast of the Town is the most glam sounding song on that album.
I did go with Livewire because it's one of my favorite songs of all time. It's my current wrestling entrance theme.
Great.
I entered a Livewire. I love that song. If I had to do a follow-up, I love Come On and Dance. I think that's
we literally said the soul out.
Yeah, I didn't.
We said the whole album.
We pretty much said that every song on this album was great. So I guess we're But Mick Mars, you guys think in contention for one of the best guitar players on the list?
Yes, absolutely.
No.
I have
Really?
two better than him.
Well,
not saying he's a bad guitar player. Like I said I'm not going to shit on anybody's talent. They're all talented musicians. Is he good? Yeah, absolutely. But to me, listening to Motley Crue, I hear very similar songs all the way through. Like I feel like the vibe of the album, and even the next one that we're going to talk about later on in the list is, I got the same. Like they're all the same to me. They're all the same.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. I love Motley Crue.
And this
I
is our
like
first
listening to Motley
disagreement.
Crue, and I've seen Motley Crue with you guys and twice, I think.
I think Mick Mars is super underrated.
Me too.
Because
I will give him that.
And we say that a lot.
I definitely don't. I think there's better guitar players on this.
I agree. I don't think Mick Mars is like, top 5 guitar players of the 80s by any means, but like people never think of him as like he writes such good music and his solos always fit.
Yeah.
They always fit.
And this album to me is important because it kickstarted one of the most legendary careers of all time.
Did it kickstart your heart?
It did kickstart my heart. And I hope it never stops.
Whoa.
Took him to the top, right?
It did. It took me to the top, made me come on and dance, and I had starry eyes when I saw a piece of their action.
But let's be fair, it didn't take them to the top.
That's why they went on with the show.
2 years later, it took them to the top.
Yes, we're all actually 15.
Like, none of us were alive then, but I have a feeling that like literally nobody knew who Motley Crue was in this album yet.
I'm sure they didn't. It was 1981.
Yeah.
But
like, it wasn't one of those, like, look what the Cat Drag did in Poison's first album. They're huge, right then.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Motley Crue, like, wasn't a big name until their second album. So that's why I feel they put this on there to kind of give that some cred.
Yeah.
But I still don't look at it as a glam album.
Okay.
I don't know why. And I know it's hair metal. So maybe that's why they chose those words.
Yeah.
Hair metal.
Yeah.
But I don't even know what they look like during this time. I can't picture what they look like during.
Probably Glam Boys.
I don't think so.
What did he call them? Glammy
Glam Boys.
Glam Boys.
Because the next album they look like Wasp.
I thought you were going to say like Waz. Shout out to Waz.
What's up, Waz?
I'm sure they'll be listening.
Okay.
They didn't look like Waz.
Let's be honest. We can debate this album all day long.
Absolutely.
Maybe
not. We're probably done now.
Well, me and Chaz have a very similar view on it, but a little different. And
mine, like I said, mine's not bad.
No,
I
it's
disagree with some things.
And I can't wait to see that tour. But let's move on to number 8.
Of course, I'm going to go.
We got Kix with "Blow My Fuse" in 1988.
Can I start? If you don't mind,
you can definitely start.
I fucking hated this album. I do not like Kix, and this is one of the ones I'm going to shit on. Talk about sounding exactly the same. Everything to me sounded exactly the same. I could not differentiate. So I listen to these songs on YouTube. Sometimes they give you the breakdown of each. You get this song, this song. Other times they just mash up it's one big video on YouTube that just goes through all the songs. That's what I was listening to. I had no idea what I was listening to the whole time.
Okay.
I was not a fan of this album, and I can't even believe it's top 10.
Did you pick a track?
I put a plus next to "Get It While It's Hot." I think that's the one I remember the most.
Okay.
I was gonna say, don't force one out.
That was me actually. I did try. I will try. I will say this. I did try to listen to this, and I listened to it all the way through. I got done with it, and I said I will never listen to this album again.
Okay.
For me, Kix, first of all, Kix is a great cereal from our children, from our childhood years.
From our children.
You know what? I was gonna make that joke, but I didn't want to be the asshole who did it.
You're welcome.
It's okay. He just called it our children.
Okay, so Kix, I don't know. I even said, I think I mentioned on the last podcast, like, why is this on the list in the top 10? And I didn't know a lot about them. But even the Don't Close Your Eyes, like, could it be up for contention of ballad of?
No.
Sure, but no, it's not. No one's going to pick that.
Absolutely not. I wasn't even thinking about this album.
Now, listening to it, I'll give it a little more credit than I had going into it. There was a few songs I liked. I think the best song on the album was the title track, Blow My Fuse. I think Blow My Fuse is actually a really, really, really good song. I would say Blow My Fuse is one of the better songs of the whole decade, like in the top 10, 15%. And everything else on this thing is just kind of like Adam said, like just run-of-the-mill, sounding the same. And even the ballad is just, I don't like it. I don't like Don't Close Your Eyes. I never did. I always thought it was cheesy. It never took the route of like the ballads that I like. It took more the Styx route.
Yeah.
And I was thankful that I listened to it just because I really do like Blow My Fuse.
Okay.
But that was it. It was a one-song track album for me.
Okay, so for me, I also picked Blow My Fuse. I thought that was the best track. Don't Close Your Eyes, everybody knows that song because it was their biggest hit.
I'm not going to lie to you, I had no idea.
Really?
No?
No.
Oh, okay.
Never
that
even heard
surprises
it.
me.
Never even heard of Kicks until this list.
It is one of the least popular of the ballads. Absolutely.
It was on that Monster
Yeah.
Ballads and all that stuff.
But,
and,
I mean, even when we looked at the list, honest to God, when we looked at the list and I saw that Kix was in the top 9, I was like, who the fuck is Kix? I didn't think of
I said
Don't
the same
Close Your
thing.
Eyes.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't think this album was terrible because they're very talented guys. I also thought Red Light, Green Light, TNT was a pretty good song.
That's a stupid title.
But I gotta say, it is a weird title.
It's a stupid title.
It was a little bit on the corny side. And the whole album, I mean.
Yeah.
And they spelled light wrong, too.
They also spelled Kicks wrong.
And Kicks. No, they didn't. That's
Does
how you
anybody
spell-
want
that's
some
how you spell
cereal
it,
right
yeah.
now?
I gotta say, I wouldn't mind this album as much if it was somewhere else on the list.
I think I still would.
Not on the list.
Even
What?
if it was in the 30s, like I would be complaining. Honestly, like
I'd like to have seen like a Queensryche album or Scorpions or something along those lines.
another Poison, another Mr.
Poison,
Big,
yeah, yeah.
another Motley Crue.
But I overall, I can't say
It wasn't even on this list.
out of all the
Surprised
the
about
ones
that.
that we've gone through so far, because we've gone through 50 of them. There's ones that I dislike a lot more than this. So I'll just say that.
I agree. I agree.
Definitely agree with that. Listening to the podcast every week, there are bands that I've never heard of, and I did go back and listen to them, especially the ones that you guys shit on. I was like, I got to see why these guys are shitting on this stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's probably why.
I mean, I don't have
a
Tesla
lot of it.
hatred. I don't have Tesla hatred for this. I don't have precious metal hatred
DAD.
for this. I don't DAD. God, nobody.
Yeah.
That's
That's what I mean. Like, there's worse albums on this.
there is. Not only is it high, like I just feel it could be replaced. Like literally. Well, I would even say I like this more than Tesla, but I would have been happier if Tesla was in the top 10 over this album.
Okay.
I just feel it doesn't deserve to be there. Anything from that last list, other than Tesla, is better than this album.
Okay. Well, why don't we kick it on to number 7 then, which I want Chaz to start us off with. This is Faster Pussycat with their self-titled Faster Pussycat from 1987. Heard that was a good year, especially July.
Why do I? Hang on one second, everybody. Let me just.
Yeah, you know what? Pour some more in there, too. Yeah, I'm going to need some for this as well.
Let me just.
Top me off, bud. Thanks, Pat.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I gave this a chance. My brother likes this album a lot, and I said I'd give it a chance. So the first song, "Don't Change That Song," I was like, you know what?
I'm going to change this song.
No,
That's
I
what I
didn't go
said.
that far. I was like, you know what? This ain't that bad. Maybe I'll like this album. And then the Bathroom Wall, and I already knew Bathroom Wall. And then I was like, okay, so not the worst. And then it went. And it was everything I remembered about Faster Pussycat. It sucks. I hated it. I did like Don't Change That Song. I did like that song.
That's my pick.
That's my
for the
pick.
standout song.
Yeah.
Don't change that.
Because the rest of the album's garbage.
I picked Bathroom Wall, but I also hated this album.
But
It was
Bathroom
terrible.
Wall is like, I already knew. And
I didn't know.
Okay.
I knew Faster Pussycat. I know the name.
So,
But
Faster Pussycat.
I listened to this because I'm here today with you guys, and I'm 100% in agreement with you, Jazz. I hated this album. I hate that it's top 10.
I really do. A little backbone that I know about Faster Pussycat. The singer Tammy Down, was the owner of the Cat Club in Los Angeles.
Yes.
The only reason he started a band was because he had all these bands in his club. So he decided to be Mr. Cool. That's the only reason they got signed, because he had a cool fucking club. That doesn't mean he's a good fucking artist. I think the band sucks. They're boring as fuck. They literally were just like, hey, you're not in a band? Hey, we're in a band now, and he already had a record
Here.
contract.
Cheers
I
me.
think it's stupid. And then, I'll cheers you. And then, nonetheless, the dude, my hatred towards this guy, when he realized that his shitty brand of hair metal didn't work, went the fucking industrial fucking ways, which sucks too.
Yeah, they changed their sound over the years. That's what you're talking about.
I was screaming. I apologize.
That's fine. You both were.
That's fine. No,
So-
we have to be heard about
The
this.
songs that I liked on this were Don't Change That Song, City Has No Heart, and, of course, Bathroom Wall. I don't mind the bluesy side of the hair metal, so this doesn't bother me. I don't think by any means that it's a top 10 album. I don't think that it's a great album. I think it's an album that has some good tracks on it. My favorite Faster Pussycat songs are not on... Adam's holding up a sign at me that says trash.
Damn right I am.
My favorite Faster Pussycat songs are not on this record.
So you like
House of Pain.
House of Pain.
And their cover of You're So Vain. And
House of Pain's not bad, but
no, that's a great ballad.
yeah.
And probably their most popular song.
Yeah, I would say so.
But Don't Change That Song is actually really good.
Yes.
And, like, when I listened to that, I was like, this is going to be a good record.
I don't even know.
And then it's followed by Bathroom Wall, which, again, I'm like, still a good record.
We all knew that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I was getting, like, and you know what? And I mentioned this before. I lumped Pretty Boy Floyd in with these guys.
Yes, you did.
And they're so not even similar. Maybe Bathroom Wall. Maybe Bathroom Wall is like Pretty Boy Floyd-esque.
Yeah.
But other than that, it just seemed... It literally, like, the way I described it, that's what it sounds like. Just a bunch of fucking dudes, because a guy had a popular club during the club scene in the 80s, threw a band together. There's no reason this band should be in the top 10. Put them at 41.
Yeah.
Like, fine.
I think I'd be okay with that. But obviously, for purposes of what we're doing, we can't do that today. But we're going to move on to number 6 because I think we all pretty much talked all we could talk about that album.
Yeah, I don't even have anything to say. I disagree with Chaz.
So this is going to be Rat with Out of the Cellar from 1984.
I have one word for this album.
Go for it.
Meh.
Yeah.
Really?
Okay. I'm surprised by that.
Not a big Rat fan. Saw him live. Great,
I
great
was sitting
live.
next to
You were
you.
sitting next to me. It was okay. No, it's good. I mean, of course you know the hits. You know, Round and Round.
Yeah.
Obviously, great song. I mean, good song.
You know the hit.
Well,
Yeah, I'm sorry, the hit. Sorry, you're
Round
right.
and Round was one of the biggest songs of the 80s hair metal.
You're right. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree with that.
Rat was a lot bigger than we realized at this time.
Yes.
They probably were.
Like, I looked up on a setlist thing, a Rat setlist from the 80s, when they played here in Buffalo. And they played at the arena, and Poison opened up for them.
Yeah, they were the headline.
Like, holy shit. Like,
Yeah.
like that, and that's a big show. So, like, I love Rat. I love this album. So I'm not
Sorry,
shitting on
guys.
this album.
We're
That's
going to
okay.
disagree again.
I
I mean, like I said, I didn't hate it.
I'm gonna go out and nominate Warren DeMartini as one of the guitarists of this list because I think he's the kind of guy I always group him in, and I think I mentioned this before with George Lynch from Docket because they're bands that are known more for their singers and their style more than their playing.
For sure.
And I think Warren DeMartini is he's what got me into Rat originally because a lot of his solos are so clean. He's not, I wouldn't call him a shredder by any means.
No.
But they're clean and they make sense and they're perfect. Stephen Pierce, he doesn't have that. He kind of has that fake voice, but it's not as bad as Tom Kiefer. But I also heard that Stephen Pierce kind of lost it, and I don't know if that's true, but we'll find out in December.
When I wasn't with you, but me and Adam were sitting pretty close for the Rat and Poison
Rat
tour that
Poison.
came through with Veins of Jenna.
Veins of Jenna, yeah.
And
God, yeah, whatever
he sounded
happened to
great. He
But
sounded.
this was a while ago.
This was
Yeah.
it's 2008, I think.
Yeah,
2007.
so-
Really?
Oh my god,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
it was a
I
long
didn't
So
realize.
yeah, so I heard,
That was a long time ago.
but that, I don't know if that's true.
Maybe a little later. I could be wrong.
But
I'm
breaking
pretty sure-
news-
that sticks out in my head.
Breaking news: they're on tour.
Yeah.
Well, Stephen Piercy and company is on tour
As Rat.
as Rat,
As Rat,
and their
yeah.
first show on the
Difference.
tour is at Showplace Theater in Buffalo.
It's like Rat
Yeah.
with one T.
So I believe
we
we're
should
going.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe we're going. So
Maddie Vegas will go, and
Yeah.
it'll be fun.
I'll go and then I'll
DJ
shit on him
Guido?
then too. So
DJ Guido will go.
But I love Rat. They're one of my favorites from this era. Like, I think they were more close to a metal band than a hair metal band who just decided to tease their hair a bit.
Well, give me your pick.
Back for more.
Mine too.
Awesome. song.
Mine too. How about
I
you?
also picked that one.
Such a
Did
good
you really?
Yes, I
okay.
did.
Such a
So we all agree that
Yeah, I
Back for More
definitely
is the
that one
track.
definitely stuck out to me. Like I said, this album was it was good.
Oh, I
Like,
loved it.
Yeah, I loved
I
it.
liked it. I would listen to it again if it came out.
Well, it's got
so
Bat-
Rat is one of those. Everybody has a band that's like, oh my god, I can't stand them changing the station. Rat's not one of those for me.
Good.
If you would have said that, this podcast was over.
No.
And we're back without Adam. Hi, everybody.
And the top 5.
And we took a short break. Adam's no longer with us.
I would have handed your list to Maddie and been like, "You
No,
read whatever he wrote."
They are. I mean, it's Rat, right? I mean, it's Rat. Rat's good. I do like Rat.
Do you know a lot from Rat, or do you really only know this album? Like, be honest. Rat. I'm asking.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is an album that I know from Rat.
So
I've heard these songs before, but other than that, it's probably...
It might be something you want to look
I could
into.
probably explore it a little bit
because
more and maybe form a different opinion on it.
I
But
think-
as far as my opinion goes, this album was good. Like I said,
Rat's easily...
I would never turn it off if it came on.
In my opinion, Rat's easily in my top 5.
Yeah, I think people forget how good they are sometimes.
Yeah.
Even
We are going to have a very different top 10.
No, I mean easily my top 5 of bands from...
in general.
Oh, I
general,
know.
from that era.
Absolutely.
Rat's easy. Like, here's my question to you, Robbie.
Yeah.
Because you got a little more knowledge than Adam, but I'll
Yeah.
pose it to Adam too.
Yeah.
You can only pick one: Rat or Dokken.
Rat.
I would pick Rat
I'd pick
as well.
Rat too.
Yeah,
So, and then Dokken's like right there too.
Yep.
Like, to me, those bands are so similar.
They are.
They're really similar. I think Dokken takes the harder edge from it, and Dokken actually has the better ballads. But I think overall, Rat is just the more fun band to listen to.
Well, yeah, I agree. And even like these 3 songs in a row here, She Wants Money, Lack of Communication, Back for More. What are like just those 3 songs in a row?
Lack of Communication was going to be my number 2 pick, and we're not even
too.
talking about Round and Round.
No,
Which is a great song.
it is, and that was their biggest hit ever of all time. But I gotta say, like, you go with their I don't want to call them deep cuts, but I guess they kind of are. But they're so good.
Well, most of their stuff is deep cuts to everyone's eyes.
That's true.
Like, for me, Rat, like, I would prefer... I guess I like the Rat's Greatest Hits albums, but, like, I would rather... I don't know. I like their albums in general. So, to me, it's like, of course, their hits are their hits, and they're awesome, but I can get into their deeper stuff.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So at number 5, we got Skid Row with the self-titled Skid Row, their debut album from 1989 with Vocal God, Sebastian
I just want
Bach.
you guys to know that 1989 was a fantastic year.
Okay, so this is...
March 8th, by the way.
So this
Not
is
that I was
Skid,
born or
Skid
anything.
Row. Their singer's Jizzy Pearl, right?
I will kill you. So Sebastian Bach is the greatest singer of all time.
Yes.
Fight me.
I will agree with that.
He's up there.
I will say number 1 as well.
I will
agree
put
with that 100%.
I will put 1990s Paul Stanley up against anybody. So
I know you will.
that's fine.
This album, though, is one of my favorite albums of all time.
We get it.
This is not one of like the greatest hair metal albums. This is one of the greatest albums
of
Really?
ever. Yes.
I don't dislike this album by any means, but I wouldn't put it up as one of the greatest albums ever.
Come on.
I love the band by all means.
This debut was huge.
But I mean, if you're saying one of the greatest albums of all time, like I don't want to say there's not any stinkers. I don't dislike it, but there's a few songs I could skip.
Okay.
So that's what makes it take away from one of the greatest albums of all time.
See, I
That's-
did not. I loved every song on this album.
And I'm not shitting on any
There's
of them.
not one song on here that I did not like, and I
Towards
was not.
the end,
I
some of
listened
the
to this
songs are
album
skippable.
maybe 5 times before today.
And I like them. I'm not shitting on them, everybody. I like them.
But you know,
being honest.
you hear about Sebastian Bach, Rachel Bolan, Dave Sabo,
Snakes.
Scotty Hill was one of the best lead guitar players around, and you never hear that.
Listen,
because
Scotty
Snakes
Hill is
more
one of
the
my
lead guitar player.
picks for top guitar player.
Was Scotty
obviously.
Hill?
Scotty
Yeah,
Hill.
but
Okay.
I mean, I'm not into them enough, and I don't even think you're into them enough to realize which one's playing which.
Snake actually, Snake. That's what I meant to say. Actually, plays more of the rhythm.
Really? See, I always thought they both kind of went back and forth because that's what it even sounds like in songs.
I know. But there are times when you can hear the difference. But Scotty Hill was the main lead guitarist.
Okay, see, that's news to me, folks, and I agree. They should be in consideration for, I guess, them as a whole.
Yeah, as a whole.
As a whole,
sure.
should be in
sure.
because I don't know who's who.
Right. No, that's fine. And Rachel Bolan is probably one of the best songwriters. He was the main songwriter of Skid Row.
Now, this is another.
I have that
band.
listed here, actually.
Did you?
See, Bolan. He literally had a hand in writing all this songs.
Every song.
I will say that I loved it about this era of music is that
Everybody could write.
everybody wrote their own songs, which was absolutely fantastic. Nowadays, for the people who don't know, somebody writes your song for you and you buy it and then you cut it. For the most part, right?
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Back then, these bands wrote their own music. And let me just tell you, most of them were bass players. Nobody hears about the bass players. Like I have on my list here that Who I have all the songs.
know
All of them
Nikki
were
Sixx and-
Nikki Sixx wrote most of the songs
And,
for Motley Crue.
Fucking Iron Maiden,
But-
Steve Harris. Steve Harris wrote like 95% of the Iron Maiden songs.
Right.
The way I look at it for this album is, as we all know, I'm a Guns N' Roses hater.
I hate you for that.
I also hate you. For
This
that.
is a better album than Appetite
I almost
for
wore a Guns N'
Destruction.
Roses shirt
Okay.
to spite you, but I didn't.
Hang on, stop that real quick. Did you hear what he just said?
This is a better album than Appetite for Destruction.
I agree.
Because Appetite Destruction is like 4 really good songs and then meh for me. Where this album is like 6 really good songs and meh. So we're talking about
Listen,
debuts.
All right, look.
I will
Everybody give me your
absolutely-
standout tracks. I'm getting aggravated. All
Youth Gone Wild.
right, how about you, Adam?
Can't Stand the Heartache was one of my favorite songs.
a good song.
That's
That song. I
a
love that
great
song.
song. But listen, I had a lot of trouble picking a song
I
on
did
this
too.
list because this album is just absolutely fantastic.
Well, let me before we go.
Wait, I didn't say mine.
Well, this has the distinction of having the 2 big hits off of it.
Yes.
18 in Life and I Remember You. And I don't.
Yes.
And if we pick those, cool. But we need to give those songs some love because that's who. I mean, that's what people know. So this debut album has Skid Row's 2 biggest songs ever on it.
3, because Youth Gone Wild's on
And
it,
Youth
too.
Gone Wild.
Gone Wild,
But the
18 in Life.
The casual audience might not know Youth Gone Wild. But Youth Gone Wild is the song that like turned the tide for me for Skid Row back when I was younger because I only know those 2 songs. Then I was like, well, I want to find something else. I don't know. I didn't have their CD. I downloaded Youth Gone Wild and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. Okay,
This
fair
is
enough.
amazing.
Well, my pick is actually Rattlesnake Shake.
Okay.
I love that song.
From
yeah.
Dr. Feelgood?
No, that would be Skid Row.
Oh, okay.
Skid Row.
It wasn't Dr. Feelgood, right?
It was.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, there's 3 or 4 hair bands that have a song called Rattlesnake Shake. But
No.
Skid Row's is really good.
Actually, I'm kind of shocked it was number 5 to be honest with you. So,
I am too. I
I
thought it would
think,
be higher.
I
but
think
it
it's
was
okay.
It's
with
a great
this.
album.
I mean, if you're looking at the
I
albums,
had a lot of trouble picking what song I wanted to tell you guys to listen to, but
the albums listed above
listen
it,
to the whole album.
the albums listed above it coming up, like why I might not agree all the time, it makes sense in a certain way. Like if they did put the Guns N' Roses album on here, it would probably be ahead of this. It would probably be right here at 5 or 4. That's what I think it would have been because the albums ahead of this, most of them make sense. I might not agree, but I get it at the same point, so I won't fight to the death. But this album is really good, and I think if all you know is I Remember You and 18 in Life, just listen to Youth Gone Wild.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that'll change your mind, or even, I think it's on the next album, Monkey Business.
Monkey Business
Monkey
is
Business.
one of
Yeah,
the
that's
best songs they ever.
I wish that the
great
next
song.
album was on Slave to the Grind. I wish that was on this list somewhere.
Slave to the Grind is so heavy,
It is.
and I love it.
Very heavy.
I think it's... See, this one has the hits, but Slave to the Grind is almost the better album.
Slave to the Grind had hits on it, too.
Definitely
It did,
I agree
but
with
not... I mean, this has their big
Their
hits.
biggest hits, yeah.
And it's the same thing with a future album we're going to talk about big hits and better songs, but we'll get to that.
Well, let's move on to future albums and go to number 4, which is Motley Crue with Shout at the Devil from 1983. Chaz?
Oh, my fucking God, man. This is like the greatest, like if somebody says to me, who is Motley Crue? Like, what are they? This is like, here's the record. This is the album that, like, made people, like, fear them. They were devil worshippers. They had the pentagram. The original album had the pentagram, like, in a matte black over black. You could barely see it. Oh, the devil. Oh, we gotta ban it. And then they ended up doing the Four Faces. Like, Motley Crue, I mean, they come out so heavy. They came off of that punk album and came out like a metal album. Like, this is one of the heaviest albums. You mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
Even a Beatles cover, which, you know, I'm not the greatest Beatles fan in the world, but, like, they did a Beatles cover. They made it heavy. It sounded awesome.
Helter Skelter,
Helter Skelter
was one of the best songs on this record.
I agree.
There's not
I
a
think it's one of the. I think that would be my pick. Even
Honest
if it's
to
a
God.
cover. Yeah, I picked Helter Skelter. I love the Beatles. I love that Motley Crue did it. Not a fan of the album.
Oh my God, there's not a bad
Whoa.
song on this album.
I would
Yeah.
keep it in the top 10, but
Oh my
it's
God.
definitely
That's crazy.
not.
That just scared me.
There is not a bad song on this
I
album.
like Motley Crue. I said
Wow.
it before, but I think there are better albums on this list than this album.
Whew. I don't think there's a bad song on this whole album. That's like,
Listen,
I'm like,
Shout at the Devil, great song. Looks That Kill, great song. Of
Looks
course,
That
those
Kill
are
was
the
my
ones.
pick. Looks That Kill was
Of
my
course,
pick.
those
me-
are great songs.
up. She's a razor sharp.
Yeah, that's right.
for me, it was either Too Young to Fall in Love or Looks That Kill. What did I write? I'm just going off the top of my head. What did I write? I wrote Red Hot.
See, I would have picked Red Hot too if I had.
Dude, Danger, Red Hot, like Bastard, everything on this album. And folks, I'm not looking at a computer right now.
Even the Knock 'Em Dead Kid, like I'm talking deep cuts are even great.
Yeah, I
on this
wasn't
album.
a fan of that one.
Dude,
I skipped that one.
This doesn't.
I also
have a
skipped
bad-
Danger.
I love Danger.
I don't think this album has a bad song. Like, this is the mecca, the top of the mountain for Motley Crue for me, because after this they started catering to more of the pop crowd.
Okay, I'm changing my number one for Chaz.
We don't allow that here.
Yeah, there's no allowing. I just absolutely love this album. I always have. I had one of these T-shirts in high school in the fucking 2000s. You know,
I just like to say, I remember that.
Yeah.
I did too. I had the cover of the Four Faces.
I had the
That's the
pentagram.
one I had. Mm-hmm. I remember going to see them so many times. We've seen them between 8 and 10 times. I
Yeah.
can't even remember when that curtain drops and you hear that dan dan da dan, and the whole crowd starts shout,
Listen,
shout. You're just like, oh my god! You just get goosebumps. you know?
Motley Crue puts on one of the best shows live.
Is there a butt coming here?
No,
I'm gonna kill you.
No, I love watching them live, and I do like Motley Crue. I really do. I love their music.
Okay.
This album, it didn't do it for me.
my heart, bro.
I tugged on your heartstrings
Like,
a little bit.
literally-
fellas. I'm sorry. I had to though. Somebody had to knock you motherfuckers down.
Here's a
okay?
question I pose to you, Rob, because he probably doesn't. He's not familiar with it. Shout out the Devil '83. What about the remix from the '90s? That's what they play live.
I know. I would take the '83 just because the original was so raw and it just felt like the energy was there.
But I feel it was the right way to go because they remix it. Now it's better to play live.
I agree.
I think that song that way sounds better live.
No, I do agree with
because
that.
it's a little heavier, it's more guitar driven, and it's not so like high vocally.
I'll tell you too, they got in all kinds of trouble for the name of the record being Shout at the Devil because everybody was like they're saint worshippers, whatever.
Yeah.
And they went on record as saying, that's not true. We're not shouting with the devil. We're shouting at the devil.
And
that was a direct quote from Motley Crue.
From Motley Crue. But listen, if you guys haven't seen The Dirt, go see The Dirt.
Yeah, The Dirt's good.
Great
That's
movie.
why they're touring right now.
Exactly. Absolutely.
No, here's the thing about
Fantastic movie.
them with the devil worshipping. This is '83, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, '83 was like the year of the devil. Because you had this album and you had the Number of the Beast from Iron Maiden. So as big as that was for the Devil, Motley Crue was even worse for some people for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
For like attacking them and saying it's Satan worshipping and all that stuff.
Well, do you remember the original record when it first started was somebody talking, I don't know who it was, probably one of the members, but the voice was altered and it was like a speech about
I can't go over. Now come now, children of the beast.
Yeah, that.
Speak strong and shout at the devil.
Right, and then yeah, exactly.
So I love this album. So
I see that.
Absolutely. My titties are hard right now.
Something else is hard too.
Here's the thing. We're going from Motley Crue at number 4.
Oh, I can't wait for you to start this one
to
off.
fucking Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet, for number 3. Now, this came out in 1986.
Are we sure this was a good year?
Let me start.
That's a fantastic year, first of all.
Let me start this one. I want to talk about this one before you guys talk about this one. Fuck Bon Jovi. You want to talk about soccer mom rock? Fuck Bon Jovi.
Ultimate soccer mom rock.
There's stupid little fucking synthesizers in every fucking song. This could have been a Madonna album with a different singer. Like, fuck Bon Jovi.
I have a friend. I have a friend of mine who's going to listen to this, and she's going to hate every word you say.
Hang on,
and
though.
it's fantastic.
I got more.
Oh, I know. I'm waiting.
Let It Rock was a great opening track to this. Let It Rock was great. I like that. That was my pick for people to listen to on this album. You Give Love a Bad Name is one of the most overplayed songs.
Yeah, but it's not a bad song.
It's not a bad song.
Not a bad
Super overplayed. Living on a Prayer, same deal.
Not a bad song.
Richie Sambora is one of the greatest guitar players.
Richie's awesome.
I had
love
him
him.
on my list.
I'm
as
not
well.
shitting on the band as a whole. I think they're talented. Wanted Dead or Alive is a great tune.
This is why I had the disclaimer that we're not going to shit on the tail end of the musicians. We're just going to shit on the album.
Again, you want to listen to Bon Jovi? You're probably 45 to 50, standing in line at Starbucks, complaining that there's not enough foam in your latte. Because that's who the fuck listens to Bon Jovi and pays for front row seats to see Bon Jovi.
Well,
fuck Bon Jovi.
Well, we have to be fair on one thing, and I'm looking it up on my phone right now to compare the two. About the big thing when it comes to music, and the big thing when it comes to Rolling Stone, because that's all they care about, are album sales. Okay, so now I'm typing
I already
in.
know that this is a huge selling album.
Well,
of course it is.
Now, mind you, at the time when I bought this album, because I do own it, and I did buy it, I was a teenager, and I was buying everything hair metal. So I would go to Sam Goody, Kids, that was a record store once upon a time, and I bought every
Right in
single...
between the media player.
Right. I bought every single hair metal album I could find. I listened to this one 2 or 3 times total. Wanted Dead or Alive is a great song.
Great song. We just covered
That was my
We
pick.
did.
We
And
just
you want to talk
covered it.
about a good ballad, Never
the
Say
way.
Goodbye is a great ballad.
I also had
It
that
is.
written down as a ballad.
Now, the ending track to this album is called Wild in the Streets.
Not a good song.
This song sounds like it should be called Mildly Rambunctious on the Sidewalk. Because there is nothing fucking wild on these streets, okay? And to be
I
higher,
love that. I'm going to use that.
to be higher than Shout at the Devil.
Yeah, that's crazy.
With a track like Wild in the Street. Did you come from money, Bon Jovi? Like, did you get cut off that day from your allowance? I don't understand what was so wild on your streets.
yeah.
Because this album.
Well, I haven't even said anything about it.
Welcome to the All Bets Are Off podcast with Robbie Vegas shits on Bon Jovi.
I haven't said anything about it. You can't shit on the popular songs. Because I don't care. They might be overplayed, but Living on a Prayer and Wanted Dead or Alive and
You Give Love a Bad
We Give Love a Bad Name are awesome too.
I like Raise Your Hands.
The song that I picked, Raise Your Hands is good. The song that I picked is I Die For You. That reminds me of my favorite Bon Jovi song is Runaway.
Okay, that's my favorite Bon
And
Jovi
that
song.
I Die For You reminds me of Runaway. It's like the same fucking song. It's like
Right.
Here's the difference. And why it's up here, because this is something...
I don't know if you guys know this, but that was actually recorded on the album.
Now here's the difference where you're going to, and I'm not
Inside
defending
information.
it as I think this is a good reason. But you're going to talk about how it shouldn't be above Motley Crue, and I agree. Obviously the way it
This
goes.
shouldn't
Motley
be
Crue
above a lot.
sold 4 million albums. This fucking album sold 12 million albums.
I don't doubt it.
I don't doubt it at all.
So to be fair,
I'm surprised it didn't hit 15.
Maybe we look at it as it's the soccer moms that like it, but because maybe they all fucking bought it 30 years ago.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Yeah, but
now-
weren't they 45 when Bon Jovi came out?
Now, let me get it straight. Let me be fair. Those hits plus I Die For You is good. The rest of the album sucks.
Okay, so Wanted Dead or Alive is great. I thought Let It Rock was a standout track. I liked Raise Your Hands until it
Yeah.
got going.
Right.
Because at first it started ripping, and Richie Sambora was fucking rocking.
Right.
And then the song gets started, and you're like, well, now Bon Jovi just killed it, because now it's corny as fuck. You know how you were talking about Extreme and the lyrics and the fucking... That's how I feel about Bon Jovi.
I remember
Dude,
listening to
you
that.
specifically
on the
wrote songs
phone.
to target 13-year-old girls. Like,
Yikes.
no.
Well, it worked what he wanted to do. He sold him.
He sold 12 million
Yeah.
albums, I guess.
12 million
Whatever.
albums.
And then we got to give him props for that. That's a lot.
How many albums did Robbie Vegas sell? Not 12 million.
At least 13 total. So, but here's the thing, though.
Mom, grandma.
Here's
All
the
bets
thing,
are
though.
off, listeners.
If you take-
Robbie Vegas coming out with an album.
If you take certain,
Shameless plug.
if you take certain tracks from every Bon Jovi record, I
Put
can
them
get
on
into
one
Bon Jovi.
album. Sure.
Sure.
I can get into Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi for me is something I said earlier. The greatest hits guy. His greatest hits CD I love.
But see, that's not even the same for me, though, because I want certain tracks that aren't the hits that I like.
Absolutely. And he doesn't have any.
Right.
A few. He has a few.
Yeah.
I've seen Bon Jovi live a few times, and you're right. It is the soccer mom rock. I mean, that was.
I love that term, by the way.
And-
Soccer mom.
I'm sorry, so is your boys Guns N' Roses.
I
fantastic.
disagree. They're too heavy.
Dude, no way. It's Guns N' Roses
Were you
Soccer
at that
Mom Rock,
concert
dude.
at the
I-
fucking arena?
I-
You were there.
I was there.
It was all fucking old ladies.
That's because Axl Rose is a dream.
He's not even arguing. First of all,
Listen,
he's not even.
they're
arguing.
also in their 50s. Maybe.
Maybe.
the three soccer mom rock bands.
you're
of
gonna
this-
get
the three-
45-year-old soccer moms at a Guns N' Roses concert. I don't know what to tell you.
The three soccer mom rock bands from this area are Bon Jovi, Guns N' Roses, and Def Leppard. And I like them.
Oh my God! What? Why am I here?
And I like them.
Soccer Mom
kidding
Rock
me?
is fucking Bon Jovi, Journey, Styx.
Yeah.
Like all
no,
that stupid
God.
bullshit that everybody was like is rock and roll.
Listen,
Def.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm
what
gonna
is-
talk if you guys don't mind.
What is the
I'm still here.
biggest? What is the
fighting
big,
right
What
now.
is the biggest? Just off the top of my head, no one's looking at stats. Out of this 50,
Yeah.
and there's a few more to come. We know what there's a few more to come.
Sure.
What is the biggest selling album?
Probably this one.
Oh, definitely.
it's Def Leppard.
This is a trick question.
No,
I was
it's
gonna.
Def Leppard,
It's
yeah.
Def
Oh, it's
Leppard
definitely
Hysteria.
definitely Hysteria. Sure.
The soccer mom rock. So everything we said about this you can apply to Def Leppard. I love Def Leppard. You know
Def Leppard's better. Anyway,
I agree.
We'll get there.
It's Soccer Mom.
Adam is dying to talk about.
No,
this record.
I'm really not.
Let go on Bon Jovi. I'm sorry.
No, it really doesn't, man.
we brought
Honestly,
up
like
Def
this was, like I said, I have a friend who's a really good, like her number one.
I was just
band
trying
that
to.
she loves is Bon Jovi. She's gonna hate me for this, but I don't see it at number 3.
What was your pick? For the song?
I picked "Wanted Dead or
Oh,
Alive."
okay.
I also picked "Raise Your Hands," though. I liked it a little bit.
I'm not shitting
Never
on
Say
the
Goodbye.
talent of
obviously,
Richie Sambora.
Yeah, no, Richie Sambora was great.
You wrote him down.
I actually wrote him down. So I changed my list 100 times for this. I wrote him down as one of my favorite guitar players on this list because he is fantastic. He's a great guitar player, just like everybody else on this list.
Yeah, I agree.
Here's my argument to him. Meh.
Really?
See, there it is. One word to describe this. I would definitely not put this album at
As
number 3.
Richie.
I would definitely drop it backwards.
I think it deserves some sort of credit, honestly, because those hits are there.
I mean, listen, you did something right to be played constantly on
but
every
think
radio
of-
station
I
ever
agree.
made.
What are
and
the 3 biggest Bon Jovi songs?
Look at us
They're on
clearly
this
arguing
album.
about it. So
The 3 biggest Bon Jovi songs ever are on this album.
Let me clear this
That's
up.
crazy. You got to give it props for that.
I agree. This album sold a lot. It deserves
Sure.
to be on this list. Richie Sambora is one of the best guitar players, in my opinion. I think
Agree.
he's super talented. I'm not shitting on everything as a whole. I just don't think this album should be number 3.
I also
and
agree with that.
I feel that Bon Jovi as a whole is overrated. That's just my opinion. They're not for me.
I agree with the overrated
I don't
term.
think Bon Jovi should be number 3.
See? Maddie Vegas
doesn't even know
chimed in for
music.
the first time
Nope.
ever in this whole podcast.
Did you read the sign in the clubhouse that said no girls allowed?
Does that mean that I'm? Does that mean
It's on
I'm
the
a
front
soc-
door.
Does that mean I'm a soccer mom?
Soccer
Or
mom.
Does that mean I just don't
Wait.
care about the rest of
Are you a
No,
soccer
see,
mom?
So you think they shouldn't be at number 3, right?
No.
Okay,
No,
so
absolutely.
there.
I didn't put them at number 3 in my list by any means.
Yeah, shout
This-
out Rolling Stones. Oh, what?
This album it does deserve the credit it gets.
I agree with that statement.
I think it
but
should
should
be-
it be number 3?
No.
In my list, no. Should it be in the top 10? Maybe. In the personal taste, no.
Maybe by sales, yes.
By sales would be like number 2.
Yeah, because every soccer mom bought it on vinyl,
Right.
cassette, and then it came out on CD, and they fucking bought it again.
After
and now they're downloading
Then they
it.
downloaded
As
it.
well
and
as
they-
Def Leppard.
They put it on a CD.
I mean, it's the
You
truth.
think that
We got
motherfucker...
checkings and CDs and checkings, or we just take all your money
An
and throw it in a big
8-track.
mattress.
John Bon Jovi, if you're listening, Sebastian Bach should have never been open up for you. You should have been open up for him.
Here's the
Also,
problem.
thank you for not buying the Buffalo
Yeah,
Bills.
that's the problem with Buffalo out here. People hate Bon Jovi because they think he was going to buy the Bills.
We're biased.
Oh yeah, didn't his name get brought up?
He was a
that?
player in it, but
Yeah.
he never had a chance.
Let's move on
Let's
to
move
number
on
two
to number
because
2
I feel like being happy.
we all want to talk about this album.
So number 2 on the list of greatest hair metal albums of all time, 1986, Poison, their debut album. Look with the cat dragged in. Adam's wearing the
I'm
shirt.
going to start with the shirt on.
Go for it.
Rightfully so at number 2. I love this album. There's not one song on this album that I hated. I think I speak for most people who like Poison, and by most people I mean Vegas and Chaz.
Mad
I
a little
don't
bit.
not like any Poison song from any album. I think they're one of the only bands that I can honestly say that I never hate a Poison song.
I can't say the same thing.
Listen, no, I love this album. It's a great song. Like Cry Tough, amazing opening song.
I agree.
Amazing opening song. I Want Action. Like I'll go through the whole list and tell you that they're all amazing.
Tell them all songs.
Yeah,
Say the
actually,
set list.
listen,
Say the set list.
Calm
Listen, 10 songs on this album, right? Starts off with Cry Tough, I Want Action, I Won't Forget You, Play Dirty, Look What the Cat Dragged In, title track, Talk Dirty to Me, Want Some, Need Some, Blame It On You, Number 1 Bad Boy, Let Me Go to the Show.
You just named 10 tracks.
10
and 5
tracks.
of them were hits.
5. Half. That's 50%.
Debut album. That's big.
Okay. I mean,
Amazing.
from what I said earlier, that
love this
I
album.
would take Skid Row over Guns N' Roses. I would take this over any of them.
Yeah.
I love this album.
This album is awesome. It's what I was saying about Motley Crue earlier, how it kind of had that like punk vibe to it. This has that punk vibe to it. Adam, you were mentioning that there's not such thing as a bad Poison song, and I disagree because I've realized over my years, like I love Brett, I love Bobby, I love Ricky, but Poison to me is CeCe DeVille,
I agree.
and I feel when CeCe left, those albums weren't as good. Like I know Robbie likes Native Tongue.
I do.
It's all right, but it's not the same by any means. And Richie Kotzen's a great guitar player, and so was Blues. But like, as soon as he came back for Hollywood, they were back on track.
I have CeCe DeVille listed as one of my top guitar players.
CeCe DeVille needs to be on this list.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've said
oh
it.
my god! Like,
I said it in episode four episodes ago. I'm a CeCe DeVille mark, by all means.
Yeah.
I think he's fantastic, and I thought this album at number 2 is well deserved.
Absolutely.
It should be in
100%.
consideration for number 1,
Agreed.
by all means. And for me, it's like the ultimate Poison album, by all means. It is the one, if I could only take one on a desert island Poison album, it'd be this one.
I gotta say, right on board with you guys, this album is fantastic. Poison is
Amazing.
one of the few bands from that era where you know every member, and I think that speaks volumes for the talent in the group and the stage presence
And they
the charisma.
still all play together today.
Right. I mean, you got Ricky Rockin' on drums, you got Bobby Dahl on bass, you got CeCe DeVille on guitar, you got Bret Michaels vocals and guitar for some tracks, and not one member that I just named you don't enjoy watching. I love watching
agree.
Ricky Rocket's drum solos. I've seen Poison 15 times. We've all seen Poison a bunch together.
I've
We went
seen
last
them,
year
yeah.
to see Poison.
Let me throw this out there. I've seen Poison 15, 20 times like you. Last year was the best time I've ever seen Poison.
I agree, and I think we mentioned that when we talked about Open Up and Say Ah on one of the previous lists, but
Do you guys remember who opened up for Poison last year?
Cheap Trick.
I didn't
I
remember.
thought it was Cheap Trick too.
It was.
It was Cheap Trick.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't remember that until you just said it just now.
Yeah, because
Because
Poison blew the roof off
I
the
am
fucking
there.
place.
I'm always at a Poison show to see Poison unless they play with Motley Crue. Of course, I want to see them both.
I'll
But
tell you
Poison
what.
is just one of those bands that you just never have a bad time watching live.
So what was your track?
My track was number 10, dude. Let me go to the show. I love
That's a
that
great
song,
track.
dude.
What was yours?
I did a double. It's either Cry Tough, like you mentioned before, or the title track. Look what the cat track did.
I had to go
love
with
them all.
Look What the
I-
Cat Track did
Such
because
a
it's
good
so
song.
heavy.
It is a great song.
For
and I
1986,
love-
I feel like that track was
dude.
heavy as hell.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We can go on about this album
Like, that
alone
might be-
as an entire episode.
That might be Poison's
we might
heaviest song.
have to have a Poison episode.
That might be
That'd be
Poison's
fine.
heaviest song.
And can we just point out too that the cover of this record, they straight up look like chicks.
They look like chicks.
There is no
Glammy Glam boys.
resemblance of a man.
Glammy Glam boys.
I'm gonna say this about these Glammy
Sorry.
Glam boys.
No, right here.
Robbie's gonna agree with me about these Glammy Glam boys. Poison on Look What the Cat Dragged In are hotter than Precious Metal.
I love looking at that album cover. Oh my god. Yeah. No, I mean, yes, when you
Poison in 1986 were sexy chicks, man.
They were hotter than Precious Metal. Not Lita Ford though.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, I'm dead. That is hilarious.
I mean, I think we can all agree. Fantastic album.
Do you guys think
just
that, like-
all 10 tracks just on repeat?
Do you guys think that like some teenage boys walked into a record store and were like, "Wow,
No doubt.
who are
No
those
doubt.
Oh my
chicks?"
god, yeah,
No,
no,
Well, that's
absolutely.
Bret Michaels and that's Bobby Dahl. And
No doubt. Like
Oh my god, check out CeCe DeVille.
Robbie, when you
You see Ricky Rocket? My goodness.
When you release
Look at him jamming
this-
on those drums.
when you release this podcast, you need to put up a poll. Who's hotter, Poison or Precious
You know
Metal?
what? Go on, put it on Twitter right now. We're going live with this
oh my
shit.
god, I'm sweating.
We're going live with this shit.
I just want to point out too that we're not knocking them because Poison's like my favorite band.
Yeah, this-
One of my favorite bands of all time. I get made fun of for liking Poison because I know people who.
Oh, our whole
just-
lives we've heard that
whole
they're
li-
not good.
Oh my
you
god,
know?
Poison! You like Poison? Yeah, fucking like Poison.
In my
How do you
head-
not like Poison? Fuck you.
In my head, Poison is the ultimate of the Glammy Glam boys.
They are, and they're also the best live show in my opinion. They're just fun.
I mean,
and
we've-
everything's
we-
just high energy, but it's also like Bret
yeah.
Michaels is very like, I love you guys. Like, let's be one. We're all here together. Like,
Here's some
You
content.
guys have
Here-
seen a lot more concerts than I have.
Yes.
And my favorite shows are always Poison shows.
Well, here's some controversy I'm going to throw at you off the top of the list. Of all these bands, we've seen half of them, if not more. Kiss, Poison, Motley Crue. Who's the best?
who puts on a better show?
Yeah.
Oh man. Jeez.
Silence, everybody.
I'm
Silence.
gonna okay. So I haven't seen Kiss live, and
then
I
you
will admit
can't
that. So
really-
I can't really be in on this, but I will.
Say that again, honey. Say it.
I'm sorry.
I've seen Kiss Live.
Oh, you want a fucking
She's
cookie?
serving me a drink like a woman.
We're gonna.
God, Chaz just went down.
Sorry.
Poison puts on a fantastic show. I love watching Poison. I'll go watch Poison. I would pick Poison over anybody. Literally anybody.
You know,
See, it was unfair for me to pose that question to you.
three of my favorite bands,
Right.
three of the best live shows I've ever
Awesome.
seen. You know,
Kiss has a great theatrics about them.
I got
The fireworks, the pyrotechnics, everything about it.
but that's kind of why I'm going to pick Poison.
Sure.
Because Poison puts on a great show without
Without
the
that.
makeup and without
Without
the
that.
craziness. I don't know.
Well, for me, I feel like, honestly, growing up, this past 21 years with you, I feel that, like, Poison is more of your band and Kiss is like more of my band, though we like them both a lot.
I agree with that.
And it's just like I
you're
would
going
go
with
with
Kiss.
I would go with Kiss in that aspect, but I wouldn't be surprised if you went with Poison.
Well, I know that when we all saw Kiss a few months back, and Maddie can attest to this, she turned around to me halfway through the show and said, "I think they're one of my new favorite bands."
For Kiss, you said?
Am I right?
Or did you say Poison? I'm sorry.
For Kiss.
For Kiss.
Yeah.
The problem today, now the thing is today, Poison is the better band to see live. Because Paul Stanley's shot. His voice is shot. That's my idol. That's my dude. He's tattooed on my body, but he's shot. But if we're talking
Bret
like...
Michaels is tattooed on mine.
But if we're talking like when we saw Kiss and Poison together...
I have Jack Skellington. Does that count?
When we saw Kiss and Poison together, they were both killer, but Kiss was killer. Like,
And that was one of the greatest nights of my life.
can you imagine we saw Kiss and Poison and the Mecca, the greatest band ever, Saliva, all together at one show? Josie Scott... Paul Stanley.
You know what the runner-up show was to that?
What's that?
Was when we saw Poison and Motley Crue.
Poison and Motley Crue and Kiss and Motley Crue.
Kiss and Motley Crue.
Kiss and Def Leppard, Poison and Def Leppard, Poison and Def Leppard.
Yeah, we did.
Poison and Def Leppard and Motley Crue.
It's coming.
Seriously, guys, we can talk about this all day, right?
Yeah, I feel like we should
let's move on to number one. But listen,
we love it. We love it.
Let's just agree.
Great album.
Yeah.
I don't have a bad track on this album.
No, and I like that you picked.
I
track
love
10,
dude.
by the
Track
way.
10. Let me go to the
You
show.
heard your mother. Turn that shit off.
Well, let's roll on to the number one greatest hair metal. 1987, great year. Def Leppard with Hysteria.
Soccer mom.
And do you know why this is number one? Pour some sugar on me.
We kind of harmonized there.
We did.
That was nice, guys. I thought Def Leppard was actually in the kitchen right now.
They are.
We're not British.
Oh my god.
Okay, let me
Are you
start.
starting, Chad?
Let's just go this way for
Yeah,
this.
let's go down the road here.
We all know we're all Def Leppard fans here.
Yeah.
Sure.
And this album,
How can you not be?
I looked it up just to say. Now, do you guys remember what I said about Bon Jovi? About the album sales?
Yeah.
12
Do you
million.
remember 12 million? Double it.
You're kidding.
25 million album
That's
sales.
double
kidding.
plus
Yes.
some.
Wow.
So
Look up Poison real quick, by the way. But yeah, that's fucking.
it's not even close. 25 million album sales. So to as much as you guys are talking shit about soccer moms with Bon Jovi, to be fair, there's this
Okay,
album.
they're not as soccer mommy as Bon Jovi.
I agree.
I put them right with them, but
No.
it's okay. I'm man enough to admit that, and
Maybe
it's
the hits.
okay. The hits. This album ranked number one, biggest selling album on this whole list by far. The biggest
for
album.
sure.
Okay, to me, it's a good album. It's got good songs, but it is like a half and half album for me. Maybe not even half and half. The good songs are great. The filler songs are filler. It's sold off of Pour Some Sugar on Me. Okay, and like the songs, like you got the list right there. Let me look at these lists. Woman, great song. Rocket, great song. Animal, great song. Love Bites, great song. Pour Some Sugar on Me, great song. Armageddon, good song. Side 2, then they go downhill. Gods of War is meh. Don't Shoot Shotgun, meh. Run Riot, meh. Hysteria, good song.
Great song.
I actually
song.
picked Don't Shoot Shotgun.
Really?
as one of
Well,
my-
that's a
as
deep
my-
cut.
as
And
my
then
song, so-
Excitable and Love and Affection, meh.
Okay.
When comparing it to me, what pissed me off about this album, because I've always listened to Def Leppard and kind of just in like shuffle ways and not paying attention, Pyromania's better than this album.
I agree. I totally agree with
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
I'm going to let Adam talk first.
Pyromania was in the last list, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that. I love Def Leppard. I mean,
do too.
how could you not? Right? Classic for this era. You know, it was a great album. I enjoyed every song on it as well. Like I said, I picked "Don't Shoot Shotgun" as my song
Okay.
for people to listen to. But man, "Rocket" is a amazing.
But if you're
amazing
looking
song.
at it like this,
What- what-
I
side,
love this.
What was your song?
well, if you're looking at it like this, you have it listed out like the album. Side
This
one
is
fantastic.
what they gave me. Yeah, no, side one's great.
Side 2 is a letdown. My pick for the best song on this album, and possibly the best ballad, is Love Bites.
Love
Love
Bites
Bites is so good.
It's
It's
such
so
a good
I
song.
actually picked that. I didn't write it down, but I have it in my brain.
Now, that's where I'm going with 50-50 on this album. So, did it sell the most? Yes. That's because of Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Yeah.
Pour Some Sugar on Me, Living on a Prayer, and Sweet Child of Mine. That's Soccer Mom. That's why I put those bands there.
You're right.
My ex-girlfriend, her mom was in her fucking late 60s. Her fucking ringtone was Sweet Child of Mine. Okay? So that's why I say that.
Okay, but you're talking about a song, not the whole band.
But that doesn't matter. We look into the deeper things. Those people don't.
That's true.
And that's what it is. So that's why and if you look at it, I guarantee you, obviously two of the biggest ones are Bon Jovi and Def Leppard, and I bet you Guns N' Roses right up there with that album with sells. That's why you need to cross that bridge.
Yeah.
All us fucking long-haired, bearded losers, they don't give a fuck about. Because we're going to buy the album, buy the ticket. Those girls are going to buy the posters, going to buy everything else.
Right.
That's why they do that. But this album, for me, I've actually haven't listened to fully in a long time. It was a disappointment about how good it was and then how boring it was.
Okay.
Where Pyromania was a better album overall, and I can't believe I'm saying that today.
I will definitely say that side 1 was better than side 2.
I mean, I think we can all
and
agree on that.
we can definitely agree on that. That's a no-brainer.
I also want to point out that
but
Phil Collin is one of the best guitar players going.
Agree. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's Def Leppard. Solely based on the name, yeah, of course you're going to check it out, right? I mean, this is what your parents listen to. Our generation, anyway.
Yeah, right.
My brother, he's old.
Okay. Well, yeah, shout out Dom. Yeah, no, like I said, my pick was "Don't Shoot Shotgun." I love that song, great song. But "Rocket" was awesome. "Animal" was awesome. Overall, great album.
Okay.
It definitely should be in the top 10. I wouldn't put it.
Yes,
at
it
number 1.
has to be.
I gotta say, Def Leppard.
Absolutely, definitely has to be in the top 10. But I wouldn't put it at number 1.
Def Leppard, one of the best live bands I've ever seen.
I agree.
They sound amazing.
Yeah.
Pyromania is a better record than Hysteria.
did
Chaz say? All 9 arms or 11?
All 9 arms
whatever it
sounded
was?
great.
Yeah.
What is Adam's take on that? Which album would you take, Pyro or this one?
I would take Hysteria, honestly.
I
think
had a feeling you were going to say that.
Yeah, I mean, it just obviously it has more hits on it.
Yeah.
Miss
for
Vegas,
sure.
which one would you take? Pyromania! Okay, she said Pyromania.
Listen, Pyromania is a good song too, and
Don't sound like
I said, I did a lot of the bands that were on this list that were also in the last list. I did go back and listen to Pyromania is great album.
It is. It is.
It's a little-
Hysteria is a great song too.
Sure,
I know
it
you
is.
said it was good, but I
No, I said Hysteria was good.
Yeah.
It's just like that. I mean, it could be up for a ballot. I want to point out something that maybe you guys aren't aware of, and I just want people to be aware of this. About a decade ago, back when Taylor Swift did country music, so maybe even 12 years ago.
When was that?
They did a crossover. Taylor Swift and Def Leppard. And Def Leppard sang Taylor Swift's song.
Gross.
And Taylor Swift sang
I'm just kidding.
Def Leppard
Taylor,
songs.
I love you.
Listen, she sang Hysteria with Joe, and it was
Never really
beautiful.
Nashville.
It was awesome. Everybody go look up. Go look up on YouTube. I'm sure it's on there. Def Leppard and Taylor Swift singing Hysteria. Like, to me, I used to like kind of dislike that song because there's so many ballads. When I heard those two do it, it gave me a different love for that song.
Gotcha.
Honestly.
Well, I gotta say,
Okay.
the track that I picked, I know I didn't say a lot
Actually,
about this album.
let's. I want to hear.
you
I
go.
definitely
You
want to
go.
hear your
Sorry.
take on this one. It's the number 1 song. I mean, or number 1 album.
Album, right.
Let's go.
So I picked Animal. I
Okay.
think that's the best track on this by far. Not saying that I
not a
didn't like
bad
other
thing.
ones.
Not a bad
Love
thing.
Bites definitely up for contention of ballad of this 10 on all 10 of these
Sure.
albums. But Def Leppard really won me over when we started to go to see them.
Yeah.
Like I always was a guy that was like, yeah, I like Def Leppard because I like their hits.
Greatest hits band.
Right. And then when I went to see them live, I was like, okay, I changed my mind. This band is fucking incredible. And they completely changed. I went to see Poison.
Right.
And Def Leppard blew me away.
We were there together.
Yeah.
Have you seen them?
I have not seen
I
Def
thought you were
Leppard.
there. Okay,
I had a
sorry.
chance to see them, and I completely blew it. And I'll admit that.
You're going to see them next year because I don't care if they're even in Cleveland. We're
No.
going to go.
I'm going to
I'm
sell
all in on
family
that.
members, vehicles, whatever I need to sell. I don't care if we have to go to 5 different stadiums. We are seeing this show over and over
Yeah,
again.
we can just. I
I'll
mean,
go
Def
twice.
Leppard, Motley Crue.
We're gonna like tell her to go find the tickets.
that's right.
And she's gonna like pull through because she's awesome.
You're going to hook us up, right?
I was already trying to find out when they were going on sale. I was like, they don't even have a venue yet.
Well, I guarantee you. I mean, this is like side note, but they might not come to Buffalo, but they might be in Cleveland or something. We'll-
Somewhere close.
We'll be
Toronto.
able to go.
Pittsburgh,
Toronto.
Toronto.
Toronto's a
Oh,
pain
no,
in the ass.
it's only a U.S. tour.
Yeah, Toronto's a pain in the ass.
I mean,
Cleveland's
you
3
can-
hours.
Okay,
We're
listen,
getting ready to go to Toronto
listen,
Friday for a concert.
You have to
Toronto.
get ready. You see what I'm saying?
Toronto is just as American as
Listen,
anywhere.
Listen here.
else,
This
okay?
is America.
This is America.
America. We're gonna
America,
spend
guys,
our
Guys,
American.
I have a lot of Canadian listeners.
Yeah, we
love
love
you.
We listen. I love Canada.
Poutine is awesome.
I love it. Yeah,
You know what?
you do it the
Fucking
best. You do it great.
Tragically Hip, Bret Hart, Los Lo.
Tim
we love
Hortons.
it.
I
Tim
love
Hortons.
it.
Hockey.
Just you know what? Fuck
Whatever.
Rush though.
Tim Hortons.
We love you guys.
Okay.
Hey. All right.
Fuck.
But Love Bites for me was the one that turned it so much. It's not my favorite Def Leppard song. My favorite Def Leppard song is Bring It On the Heartbreak.
Gotcha.
But Love Bites is very similar.
Yeah.
So to me, Love Bites is in contention of Ballad of the List.
Okay.
Easily.
Well,
And so is Phil Collins' guitar player.
Phil Collins, hands down, has to be in contention
Absolutely.
for best guitar player.
Was I don't even think they had a Vivian
Rick Allen
Campbell
is
yet.
probably the best one-arm drummer on this list. Like,
I would
from
say
50
yes.
to 1.
Yeah,
he's probably number
absolutely. To
Yeah.
even be able to do that.
Well, like, let's think
Wow.
about it off the top of my head. Who's the best drummer of this list? Of the whole list?
one. Off the top of your head.
Oh.
Like, think
Tommy
about
Lee.
it. Tommy Lee? You know
Yeah, as much as I...
Motley Crue, by the way, before you start, Adam, is another one of those bands where you know every member,
Right.
and that speaks volumes
True.
too. No, go
yeah,
ahead.
no, I would have said Tommy Lee as well.
I mean, we're looking off the top of my head.
Just fantastic drummer.
For me, it's either Tommy Lee or Pat Torpey from Mr. Big.
Okay.
Greg Basanti from David Lee Roth. But I think I'm going to go Tommy Lee. You're right.
Tommy Lee.
Bass player.
As far as stage presence and charisma go, I would honestly say Bobby Dowell. But as far as songwriting and ability, I'm going to say Nikki Sixx.
Nikki Sixx.
I agree with that as well.
For both?
Yeah, definitely for both. I love Bobby Dowell. Poison just...
Bobby Dowell's fun.
I could literally go with every member of Poison.
Billy
Sheehan, anybody? Jesus Christ.
I was waiting for you to say it.
Actually, so I'm actually looking through my list of... Because I have all the... I have the members and I have the...
I'm going to put the guitar players at the end.
but-
Well, let's just talk about for this 10 list. I know we got out of order. But this 10 list, who's your guy? Who's your guitar player?
My guitar player?
Yep.
I went with CC. CC's my favorite guitar player, man. Like, I love CC. He's creative. He's fun. He's a little bit sloppy, which makes him entertaining.
I'm looking at the top of my head. Here's our picks. From Faster Pussycat, I have no idea. I'm just looking at his name. From Kix, I have no idea. Let's look here. Then we got Mick Mars. Yeah, we got Jeff LaBar. We got CC DeVille, Warren DeMartini, Mick Mars again. The guys from Skid Row.
Scotty Hill.
The guys from Leopard,
Dave
because you can go that way.
Phil Collins.
And Richie Sambora. So you're going with CC.
I am. And I wanted to say, too, Jeff LaBar, for anybody who's listening who may not know, is Cinderella.
Right, but Tom plays a lot of those.
He does.
So,
and Tom Kiefer's
actually,
great.
side note, Cinderella, Fred Coury is their drummer who is not on that album.
He's not on that album, really.
He's not.
Well, who's your guitar player from this 10?
This 10, I went with Scotty Hill, man.
Wow.
I went with Scotty Hill.
That was my runner-up?
I loved... CC DeVille was my runner-up.
Oh, okay.
Scotty Hill, great guitar player, great solos. I love
That's
Skid Row.
surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, for me, we know who it is.
CC.
CC DeVille.
CC DeVille, for sure.
CC DeVille's the guy. I couldn't even pick him in that last
Is
list.
it because you guys used to date?
That's none
might
of
have.
anybody's business.
Yeah.
I couldn't pick him in that last list, remember, because that was the list that Vito Bratta blew my mind.
Oh, Vito Bratta, yeah.
So,
White
CC
Lion, for
DeVille,
everybody listening.
and my number 2 on this list, because, obviously it was CC, is Warren DeMartini.
DeMartini was your runner-up? Is that
Yeah,
what you're saying?
yeah.
Okay.
But here's the real
get on
question
with
to
that.
you. It might be a little harder for you to come up with off the top of your head because we haven't discussed this yet. Here's the big one, and I'm just throwing this out. Nobody knows this coming. Who's the best singer of this whole?
Sebastian Bach.
Yeah, I was absolutely just going to say Sebastian Bach. You beat me to it.
No, are
Paul
we
Stanley.
No, stop
that's
it.
fine.
Paul Stanley.
Anyway,
No,
Paul
there's
Stanley.
a difference, though, between best singer and best frontman.
I said best singer, and I still say
he
Paul
did say
Stanley.
best singer.
Okay.
And I still say Paul Stanley. And the best frontman, I say Paul Stanley.
That's a hard one for me.
Or Brett Michaels.
And
Brett
All Bets Are Off
Michaels,
podcast here with Robbie Vegas and Adam.
We're talking about singer. I
Yeah, no.
I know you're the Skid Row guy. And you're the Kiss guy too. But I will defend Paul Stanley to the grave.
I know.
From fucking 1983 to fucking for 2000, there's not a better singer than Paul Stanley in my opinion. And I'd put Sebastian as number 2, and I would put Eric Martin as number 3.
Oh,
welcome
my God,
to
Eric Martin.
Eric
so
Martin
good.
is so good.
And again, we're going to keep telling this. That's Mr. Big for
Yep.
anybody who doesn't
Sorry.
know. Like, because we... Okay, so we're...
I don't know if you guys know this, but Mr. Big was in the bottom 50,
I don't even.
which is absolutely
Fuck.
ridiculous.
Fuck this.
We-
list.
Okay?
Me?
Rolling Stones really fucked up this list.
I think I'm an amateur rock and roll historian at this point. So when I throw out names of like singers and guitar players and stuff, I'm like, oh, by the way, that's this band. Oh, by the way, that's
shameless
this band.
plug of the All Bets Are Off podcast. If you don't have no idea what we were talking about, go back and listen to the other episodes.
Agreed.
And then 2 more things before we get into our list. Sure. The one we left out. The entire list. Best guitar player.
Of the whole list, 50. Ooh.
So you got CC,
Oh my
Warren,
goodness.
you got Don.
Vito.
You're going Vito.
Hang on, wait. Striper's on this list too.
Fucking, you got the Sweet Fox. You got fucking. I'm just going off the top of my head.
No, you really want me to pick one guitar
Yeah,
player?
okay. Vinnie Vincent?
Can I
you
just
got
say
Tracy
that
Guns. You got Paul Gilbert. You
Skid
got
Row
fucking-
has two fantastic guitar players.
Well,
so
what kind? Yeah, you got to pick one though. And if you're
can I
not
just
Let Adam go first.
can I
I'm
just
thinking.
can I just pick both the Skid Row guitar
Sure.
players?
All right.
Yeah, so they're a package deal.
Well, you're picking Paul Gilbert.
I'm picking
honestly,
Paul Gilbert.
that
There's
is-
nobody
that-
better.
Also, that's coming from me, who was only on the top 10 list.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I have a smaller sample size than you guys.
I'll tell you this
for
much.
the list.
Obviously, I'm picking Paul Gilbert.
Sure.
And then Paul Gilbert, is, in my opinion, and I've said it before, is the greatest guitar player ever birthed.
I gotta say, it's got to be between Vito Bratta and Oz Fox
For you,
from
yeah.
either Striper or White Lion.
For me, it was no doubt Paul. It's more like number 2. Is it CC or Vito? Like that's where it goes for me.
Yeah, CC's up there.
Yeah,
I can't do
like-
it, man. I can't pick one.
It's so for me, my top 3 and George Lynch. Oh, it's so fucking hard.
The hair metal era was the era of the last great guitar players, the last great soloists, the last great.
Easy. Take it easy. It came back in like 2006. There's Dragon Force. There's
I
a lot
agree,
of good things
but I'm
coming.
talking about an era
Yes,
of great
yes.
guitar players. We still have great guitar players that pop up every now and again, and we're like, wow, that guy's amazing.
Sure.
But this was an era of amazing guitar players. Like,
Yeah, easily
So-
for me, Paul Gilbert with honorable mention to CC and Vito Bratta. And the biggest thing for me,
Maddie, who's your favorite guitar player from that era?
CC.
See?
and that's a lot.
Said
because
with so much
honestly,
confidence.
Technically speaking, me and you play guitar.
You and I.
CC's not good, that great. CC's not that great.
No, but he's fun.
But
He is definitely
he's
fun
perfect
live.
for what that is. For me to say Paul Gilbert's number 1 and CC's number 2 possibly is like, can you be
Well,
any more side?
different.
You know,
What was your second question, though? You said there was another.
I'm throwing this out. These guys don't know it coming. If you can do it, maybe just give me 3. But if you can't do 3, give me 1. Honorable mentions that didn't make the list of albums.
Okay.
If you want, I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so easily for me, I was said it. Dr. Feelgood.
Okay.
So actually, if you don't, I'm going to interrupt because I've listened to the lists from you guys
Right.
every week, being here for the top 10. But I did notice that Dr. Feelgood was not on this list. And that is definitely an album that should have been on this list.
I would hope, because you're a Motley Crue fan and you crapped on the 2 that are in the top 10.
I know.
So
I
you
did.
must like
no,
one.
I didn't shit. I didn't shit on the album. I said they were good out. I just, you know, okay. You know what? Stop putting words in my mouth.
Well, let me do my thing because I already thought about
Yeah.
it.
So I'm gonna say Dr. Feelgood, and I think that's probably the only one that I can think of off the top of my head right now.
And I think you guys are going to agree with me. Dr. Feelgood, Striper, anything from fucking Striper.
Anything else, you mean?
Anything else
Because to
from
hell with the
Striper.
devil.
Right.
To hell with
So-
the devil was on this list.
So I'll go with In God We Trust. Okay, so I'll put that on there. And then I was tossed up between either Flesh and Blood or anything from Mr. Big.
Okay.
But I'm going to give it Flesh and Blood. So my picks were Flesh and Blood. It doesn't matter what order. It doesn't matter. Flesh and Blood, Dr. Feelgood, and anything, really, honestly.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Winger 2.
I meant anything from Striper. I'm sorry. Not Mr. Big. Anything from Striper. Sorry.
I'm going with Winger 2.
Okay.
Because only the first Winger
Great
was
album.
on.
I love that album.
Flesh and Blood by Poison. You know, honestly, for the third one, I can't think of the name of the actual album, but I'm gonna go with anything by the Scorpions. Really, I'd like to see them on the list. You know, Rocky with a Hurricane.
Yeah.
Rocky Like a Hurricane was so good.
Or you can rock them with a hurricane.
Or with a hurricane.
That would suck.
If you rock with a hurricane, you're probably not gonna rock ever again.
You're also a
But
badass.
You're
so.
a badass, right. But I don't know. I just thought it would have been nice to see the Scorpions on here. You alluded to them being much older than this.
They came
But
out like 69.
right, but their stuff in the 80s is hair
Awesome.
metal, and
And I mentioned it, I think, last list, and I don't think they're hair metal, but to give them a shout out if you like this music, is Queensrÿche.
I thought that too. Empire was a great album that I would have thought.
All of
I would
them.
like to
Operation
see.
Mindcrime.
Yeah, I think Guns N' Roses could have been on the list if they weren't disqualified. Wasp, just shooting shit off the top of my head. Wasp, not Wasp. But we can keep talking about Wasp. We should do a whole podcast on Wasp.
Wasp podcast coming in 3 weeks.
Yeah, right. So let's break down our top 10. Okay. This is the longest episode we've ever had.
Hold on.
That's great.
Before we get into the argument that is our top 10, best ballad.
Oh, that's right. Okay, you start.
I said I Remember You by Skid Row.
Me too.
Easy pick.
You too?
No.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Easy pick. You too? Absolutely not.
So
You two sucks.
I'm gonna hold on. Actually, let me I'm gonna give you two more that I also had on my list as well. I Remember You, obviously Skid Row was my number one pick for the best ballad of this list for obvious reasons, and we'll get into it when we talk about the other lists that we got going on. Don't Know What You Got by Cinderella, honorable mention, and I Won't Forget You by Poison was also on there as well. So I had those three, but yeah, I Won't Forget You. I'm sorry, I Remember You.
You're waiting for me because I love I Remember You. I mean, I've covered that song for 15 years acoustic.
Right.
Stop showing your age.
Yeah, because you're 75 next month.
I mean, when I started playing that song, I was 13. Okay. Damn it, I meant to say 8. Okay, anyway. I think, honestly, I love I Remember. That would easily be my number 2, but thinking about it, Love Bite.
Okay.
Love Bites is such a good song.
I'm not mad about that.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
I sat down and thought about this. I Remember You was, at the start of when I looked at the list of the ones I was doing, I was like, that's it.
Well,
but after re-listening, I think Love Bites is such a beautiful, amazing song.
It really
I went with that one.
I can't even argue with it. Yeah. I mean, obviously we're all going to have different opinions.
It's definitely a great ballad.
We went through Rolling Stones 10. Now we're going to give our 10.
Let's go 10, 9, 8. You can start, Robbie. It's your podcast.
Quick refresher, though. Chaz said that me and you would pick Look at the Cat Dragged In. You said Chaz and I would have Look at the Cat Dragged In.
For sure.
And I'm saying Chaz went with Shout at the Devil, and that you went with Skid Row self-titled. So, I will start my number 10. This is going to be a shock to you guys, is Bon Jovi.
I had a feeling that was coming.
I'm offended because that is better than some of these bullshit.
I went number 9 to be Faster Pussycat because the tracks that I did like on that, because I do like bluesy type stuff, I did really enjoy the tracks that I enjoyed. As much as I didn't like the other tracks, the ones that I did like, I really like. And Kicks Blow My Fuse I left at number 8 because Blow My Fuse is a fucking awesome song.
That's a really good song. Honest to God, like,
see, but
I will listen to that song.
Did not allow me to keep it at number 8.
Well, give me your 10, 9, 8.
So my 10, 9, 8, number 10, Kicks. All right. Kicks Blow My Fuse, number 10. Number 9, Faster Pussycat. Number 8 was Rat for me.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, I dropped it. Wow. I dropped it a lot.
So, do I hit pause and we beat the fuck out of
him? Somebody take away this gentleman's job.
Actually, okay. Well, just wait till I get to the rest of the list.
Holy shit.
All right, Chaz.
Let's hear it.
What's my number 10, Robbie?
Gotta be Faster Pussycat. Right?
Faster Pussycat's number 10.
Absolutely.
But I will give it that little increment that I liked it better than I thought. But I still hated it.
Okay.
Number 9.
I didn't even
Kicks.
like it better than I thought I was going to like it.
Because honestly, Kicks, like, to me, it was like 10, everything else, and then 2 and 1. So, like, Kicks was better than I envisioned in my head.
Okay.
Blow My Fuse is really good song.
Great song.
And number 8, this is going to surprise you, is Cinderella.
No way.
Yeah, like I just...
Come on.
Not that I'm hating on it. Not that I'm hating on it.
Robbie's going to cry himself.
I'm just...
might, actually.
Honestly, I just like the other stuff better. Like I said, the half that I hate, I really don't like.
Okay.
I really don't like.
So back to me. Let's do 7 and 6.
Do 7 and 6.
So, okay. Don't be offended, guys.
I'm definitely going to offend Chaz on this one.
Number 7, Def Leppard.
Yes, I'm not offended.
Number 6, which this is where it started getting really hard for me, was Rat. Yeah.
Now I'm offended.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm going to offend you even more. 7 and 6, back to back. 7, Motley Crue, Too Fast for Love, and then 6, Motley Crue.
Get out.
This podcast was a mistake.
I did. I know. And it's simply based on the fact...
Mr. Motley Crue fan.
I never... Okay, listen.
It's their 2 best records.
Listen. And it was simply based on the fact that I felt like I was listening to the same songs over and over again.
I can't agree.
I did that, and I'm sorry, guys. I knew this list was going to be a mistake.
This is to debate.
That's why he brought gentlemen today.
That's right. I bought the booze to help me.
I will almost give you the fact that maybe Shout at the Devil almost sounds the same, but not Too Fast for Love. Every song of Too Fast for Love is different.
Yeah.
This is okay. Listen, this list was really fucking hard.
Chaz,
okay,
give me your 7 and 6.
My 7 and 6, and this is why I didn't argue with you, are the 2 biggest selling ones. Number 7 for me is Bon Jovi.
Okay.
I like it just that much more than Cinderella. So, like, Bon Jovi's number 7, and honestly, you could swap those 2. And number 6 is Hysteria.
Okay.
I have Hysteria the lowest. Oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
Because I like what I like on that album, and literally, like, I would never flip that album if it was on my record player. And I'm the vinyl guy.
Right.
And I have Hysteria on vinyl.
Right.
And I would never flip it.
Okay. Well, let me give you my,
Let's go.
my 5 and 4.
Yeah, Robbie,
because
go
I
5 and
want
4,
the
and
top
then we'll
threes to
end
be-
on 3, 2, 1. I like that. I was going to say that.
So, number 5, I put Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil. And number 4, I did Cinderella, Long Cold Winter.
Yeah, this is where we're going to argue some more.
I'm already ready to slap
I
you.
know. I'm sorry, Robbie. My number 5 was Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet.
Higher than me? Wow, I'm surprised by that.
I know.
Eric know about that?
Maybe he wears.
Shout out to country music superstar Eric Van Houten.
Yeah, Eric Van Houten. Shout out.
Your brother made the podcast before you, you bitch.
As we're pitching
right.
at each other between hair metal and Bon Jovi.
Yeah, you know, and like I said, it was
Eric.
really tough.
Speaking of soccer moms, Eric, what up?
My number four was Def Leppard, Hysteria.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I kept it in the top 5.
Whatever. I'm mad at you about Motley Crue.
I know you
Fuck
are.
What you
And
say for the
Chaz
rest
is
of the-
also mad at me for Motley Crue too. So
Chaz,
that's
give me
okay.
5 and 4. Please.
My number 5, which is going to piss Robbie off, is Skid Row.
Come on.
I fucking hate your face.
Because these albums, I honestly feel, are better.
I knew that me and you would have a lot different opinions than Adam, but
I'm not saying Skid Row's bad. It doesn't mean it's bad. But these other ones I like better.
No,
so
I
my
agree.
number 5 is Skid Row, and you can't, you know me, you can't argue with me that my number 4 is Too Fast for Love. I like that better than the Skid Row album.
cool. Yeah.
Easily.
I mean, to me, the top 5, depending on what day you ask me, I could change all of these.
Now this is where it
Dude,
got hard.
honestly, you're absolutely right about that. I could definitely change.
Number
all of
5,
these.
Skid Row was easy for me. 4, 3, 2, 1 was difficult. So let's do.
So do 3.
Let's just do 3.
Okay.
Then we'll do 2, and then we'll do 1.
I want to start this with a disclaimer that 3, 2, 1 was so fucking difficult for
dude.
me
It was.
that if you ask me tomorrow, these
No, it
could be
wasn't.
different.
Yeah, I
It
agree with
really
that.
was.
I agree
I
with
swear
you.
to you.
Man, you know I was right about his pick.
I agree
so
with
it's all
you.
good.
I mean,
Listen,
let's take our
Robbie
guesses.
Vegas.
I sat
number
and
3.
stared at 3, 2, 1 for so long, blank, because I was like, what do I do?
Right.
So number 3, I went with Motley Crue, Too Fast for Love. I love this record so much. I love it so much. I can't gush over it enough. This record, Mick Mars, Tommy Lee, Nikki Sixx, Vince Neil, you couldn't pick a better group of guys to be on this record, and they just sound so good. It's their debut album. It kickstarted one of the most legendary careers of all time, which is why we're getting a stadium tour next year, because for the first time in 5 years, they're back. And it was hard for me to put it at 3, because tomorrow it could be 2. Next week it could be number 1.
But it could
I
also
don't
be
know.
number 7.
I disagree. So, Adam, what was your number 3?
My number 3.
Before I knife you.
Yeah, Long Cold Winter, man.
Wow,
Cinderella.
okay.
Yeah,
That's
that
up well.
I know Chaz isn't gonna like that very much.
I don't mind it because they were number 4 for me.
Yeah, Cinderella, number 3 for me. Love that album. Great album. I like the bluesiness of some of the songs in that album. I know Chaz hates that, but like I said, I completely agree with you when you say combine the 2 albums to make a
Wait,
super
hang on,
album.
one second. It's Miller time. Okay, go.
Yeah.
Can I throw out?
Cinderella, number 3.
Well, let
for
me throw out with what my problem is with this end quote blues rock. I don't think I've ever voiced this.
Am I going to
opinion.
hate you in a second?
No. I don't think. If you want to listen to blues, listen to blues. That's where I go from it. If you want to listen to blues, listen to Buddy Guy, listen to B.B. King, listen to Kenny Wayne Shepherd, listen to Johnny Lang, listen to Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Look at this guy known as blues artists.
He likes his music.
I do know my music. That's the problem I have with blues rock. Don't listen to fucking Angus Young or fucking Tom Kiefer.
Or like Bon Jovi.
That's not blues rock. I wouldn't throw Bon Jovi as blues
No,
rock.
I'm leaving that in because I hate Bon Jovi, and any jabs at him are fucking cool with me.
No, that's fine, but I would never consider Bon
I did my
Jovi.
13-year-old cheer
High five me.
Yeah.
High five me loud enough for the microphone.
So that's my thing. If you
There
want to
it is.
listen to fucking blues, listen to the greats. Don't listen to fucking Tom Kiefer. That's just where I go with that. And as I wouldn't say I'm a big blues fan, but I respect the blues.
Okay. Well, give me your number
So,
3, though.
My number 3 was tough. Was Rat.
Okay.
I put
Wow,
Rat
that's
as
fair.
number
Okay,
3.
yeah,
Did I
that's
put Rat
fair.
as the highest?
You did.
Or
I
you
had,
still
No, I did Rat for 6.
Yeah, he had 6. I had Rat at 8.
I fucking
so-
love Rat. When you I think I texted you and said Rat was coming. And then
yeah.
you were like, let's go. I'm like, yeah, let's fucking go. Even though it's not Warren, whatever. I really like Rat. Rat has a special place in my heart. And I can honestly say, looking at this list, I will listen to Rat over Too Fast for Love, Skid Row, Def Leppard. all that
Okay.
stuff. So that's why I put it there.
That's fair.
Now we're down to 2 and
We're
1.
down to 2.
We might as well do 2 and 1 at the same time.
I
Yeah,
mean,
do it.
literally, me and you are
Wait,
in the
let's
same.
all guess Robbie's favorite.
Well, me and you are in the same spot right now. We have the same two, I think. No, we don't.
We don't.
None of us have the same two.
No.
No, I don't think so.
This is the big one. So let's
ahead.
reequate. I picked your two as poison.
Correct.
Adam picked me and Robbie as poison.
Correct.
And I picked Chaz as Shout at the Devil and Adam as Skid Row self-titled.
So are we still alive on both?
We're all still alive.
Everybody's still alive.
Still alive.
Yeah,
Our guesses are
absolutely.
pretty accurate
We're pretty
at this
good.
point.
I think we know each other pretty well.
Yeah.
So let's start it with the main man,
Robbie Vegas.
What's
Number
number
two.
two?
Number 2, and again, once I filled in the number 3 spot, it became so hard,
Yeah.
painfully hard for me to pick 2. Number 2 was Skid Row. So I went with number 1 was Look What the Cat Dragged
Ding,
In.
ding, 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 ding.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
You guys are both right. Adam's wearing the shirt. It
That's
is
right.
What it is.
I am.
Adam,
yeah.
give me your 2, man.
Listen, man. You fucking nailed it for me. I said I left Poison at number 2. I put Skid Row at number 1.
I knew it.
So I was
knew
wrong.
it.
I did,
I was
man.
wrong. You were right.
You were wrong. Robbie was right.
Chaz?
Yeah, dude. That's it.
And then I have to say, even though we've actually been cousins longer than you two, because he's younger, opposite sides of
That's
the family.
true. On different sides of the
Opposite
family.
sides of the family. I'm the oldest, so me and Robbie are closer. Maybe no
Fair,
big deal.
fair.
Robbie was right. Number 2 was Poison. Number 1 was Motley Crue. Shout
I knew
the
it.
Devil.
Look at this
I
guy.
knew it.
Easy.
I got you both right.
Yes,
I
you
got
Not
you both
easy.
right.
Not easy. I can't
No.
say easy.
It was.
When I look
I
at
can
it-
honestly say that I did not know that you were that big of a Motley Crue.
I'm not that big of a Motley Crue fan. In general, I
seems
like
like you are.
Poison better.
Sure.
Honest to God. If they were playing on the same night at different places,
You'd go see-
I
You
You
would
would go see Poison first. Okay.
But Shout at the Devil is like whatever tracks. If there's 10 tracks, 10 out of 10 are knockout. Where Poison is like 9 out of 10 are knockout. It was that hard for me. I love them both. Just Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil. Like I'm the harder guy. So I've always said that. That's a metal album.
Had this been a different Poison record, would the roles be reversed?
No,
No?
because that's my favorite Poison album.
Oh, okay.
My favorite Poison album. That's my favorite Crue album.
Here's where we're going from here. We made it through the top 50 of the top, or well, all the 50 of
Yeah.
the top 50 hair metal albums of all
I threw
time.
some curveballs at you
Yes,
guys.
as ranked by Rolling Stone. We see what we all came up with. This was a fun episode and a lot of arguing.
Eventually, we're going to do a podcast that gives you guys some Christmas music that are done in the hair metal ways.
Yes, we're doing
Ooh, I
wanna
like
do
that.
that?
Monster Ballads of Christmas.
Dude, I've got
Wow.
I've got like 5 albums for you to listen to.
Wow. That's a lot.
I'll give you some CDs. CDs, kids, were these things that you put in a player and they would play music.
Well, we are going to save some of this discussion for another
I
podcast.
agree.
We are going to do Hair Metal Christmas in December because there are so many Hair Metal Christmas albums.
That you don't even know.
Yeah, some of them
I
I've
feel
never
like
heard.
I'm a more of a
And I have 5 of them, so if there's more than that.
yeah. There's more.
Um,
Yeah.
So yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna go Hair Metal Christmas. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna have Maddie Vegas listen to some of it, and we're gonna talk about.
I'm not
it.
coming. Let's record our stuff.
Stop hitting.
Okay, Bon Jovi.
Oh, wow.
My Bon Jovi was like numbered like 7, bro. It wasn't like high.
I had him at number
Not at
5.
all.
I had him at
Easy.
number 5.
His Bon Jovi
did.
was
Mine was
higher.
higher.
And then
Mine
he chose
was
Skid
higher.
Row and more Poison.
I did.
I'm leaving that in.
That is
all right.
That is. Oh, okay. Listen. Okay, it was really hard to pick between
No,
the two.
I knew that this was going to be the longest one because not only was there
Yeah,
more of us in the
absolutely.
room, but this was a bigger debate
Yeah,
because the
for
top
sure.
10 is
Top
a bigger
10.
deal. But we got through it, and this is the All Bets Are Off podcast with Robbie Vegas. We're coming at you with some new, fresh interviews coming up. We're actually going to be doing Ace Von Johnson from Faster Pussycat and LA Guns.
And I'm going to kill Adam Van Houten.
Yes, and Adam Van
Come
Houten is
on.
dead to us because he shit on 2 of the best Motley Crue
my
albums of all
God.
time, and then afterwards said, "But I like Motley Crue."
Hey man,
So-
you know what? It's such a pleasure to be here. I'm so happy that you invited me.
I'm happy you brought the gentleman.
You
so
know
it's
what?
okay.
I'm not
brought
really
the
sure what I'm going to edit out of this.
Listen, like, you know what? I would come back, even though I hate you
I mean,
guys.
this is my studio, so
I made you
That's
drink the
true.
whole time. So.
That's true. I did have a waitress all night. so-
Thank you, Maddie Vegas, because what
You're
you
welcome.
did contribute to this podcast was fucking
Well,
hilarious.
It was pretty funny. But,
So thank you for being
yeah.
here. Thank you both for being here.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you for
Hey.
being afraid.
That's right, Robbie
Copyright
Vegas.
claim.
Rockstar Robbie
Now,
Vegas, everybody. All
I'm
Bets Are Off
on my
podcast.
way home, sweet home. Tonight. See you later for All Bets Are Off. We will all be back in the future, and I will be back next week.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.